Hello, hello, everybody. Nice impromptu live stream here. Conqueror, hello. Dauntless, hello. All right, rally's coming in. Let me get in there. I will try to fight not in dot mode, just for the stream, for the quality of the stream. I'll definitely fight worse that way, but do it. Probably last like 5 minutes, and then I'll go back to dot mode. But this is honestly like the perfect kind of fight for dot mode. It's really hard for me to see anything like this. Yes, because they're swarming, so like I have to go to dot mode to kill the swarming. But anyway, we're here, we're fighting. I don't think the enemy really wants to fight us because it's just no real upside for them. But we will see. Alright, I guess the rally's still up. So you can see how like dot mode is very good for a situation like this. I can definitely get a good sense of like who is swarming the rally. We've got the Henry Zug rally, Danky's Henry Zug rally. And they are doing a Harrow YSS mixed troop garrison. And in all honesty, this looks pretty good. Seems like a pretty good situation. And I don't like to do any leading, so this seemed like a great opportunity to just live stream some fighting and be able to talk a little bit about the marches I'm using, the marches I have used in the past, because I'm down to 3 marches now from 5. And I guess I gotta really focus on these really gotta focus on these swarmers at this rally. I think there's a couple reports in coalition chat of the last couple rallies. I just got here, but yeah. Yeah, so Denki's rallies is still pretty full. 1.4. You can see how quickly I get out of position when I don't fight in dot mode, unfortunately. Seems like this one's going better than the last few, and it might just be because there's a couple more people like me here who are like really swarming this thing. And now we're kind of clearing their field a little bit here. Basically what I'm doing here is like I'm just kind of like looking at the outline of my screen and you know, looking to see like the red flashes for me getting attacked. And like the longer I go where no one's attacking me, like the absolute better things are going. Because I'm able to just stand and unload on people. I don't have to move around. Like, see, now they're attacking me. Move back a little bit, go back in. But I mean, I assume at this point the rally is just free and clear. Wrecking this Harrow YSS mixed garrison. I guess I'm getting a little bit low here. And there's some enemy who's just run right into us. And then you just kill him. Let's see who it is. Alright, I'll try to remember that name. Because yeah, the people who just like run right into you are definitely some really nice kills. And if you just target them, if you know someone's just running into you, you can just like run away like really far and bring them into your backline. And all your backline teammates will be very thankful for that. That's what they're waiting for. People are back there waiting to snipe somebody. So Yeah, this is like pretty promising, I would say. Like a very simple situation where we're just like straight up fighting in the field. I am listening to voice chat. There's a bunch of people on voice. So I just got that in my ear in case something happens. When I was swarming those swarmers earlier, just because Addy said, hey, they're swarming the rally, so I knew to get in on it. But I guess I'll just like refresh here. I mean, the thing is, like, I hate leaving a fight like this when it's going so well and I feel like I'm doing like good value or whatever. But the Nevsky is so low and the Nevsky is such a big part of what I do. I probably should have walked home earlier. I do have a pretty long walk home. I got here late. And, you know, I don't have a good spot. Actually, I'm close. Even though I got here late, I'm actually really close. Looks like they're swarming again. Yeah, maybe I should be like a little bit more defensive and like be really ready for these swarmers. But anyway, let's take a look at those reports. All right, so yeah, good report on the Guan. I'm gonna guess that maybe I think maybe the Boudica Zug did best in that fight, just because the Nevsky got targeted. Oh, so the Nevsky still just hits so hard. Even when it gets targeted and goes low, the Nevsky just trades so amazingly well. And yeah, I guess the Boudica Zug did about the same as the Guan. I think this is a good example of why I personally like the Guan Scipio more than the Boudica. Oh, you know what? I forgot to pop a boost. And I don't have a rune. I need to get a rune. This is what's nice about being at this point in the KvK. Is like I don't have 5 marches, so I can literally just send a march to this rune, leave it here, and not care. The only reason I would care is if it gets killed, which it might. It might get killed, especially since I'm on stream. Yeah, the Nevsky Joan is like my top performer by a long way. It has my best gear. Like, it does have my best gear, so that's certainly part of it. I want to make sure I have these all set up right. But so, you know, the comparison between the Guan Scipio and the Boudica Zug is like a really interesting question. But I've had those two combos for 2 KvKs now, and for me, it's just the Guan Scipio is better because, for whatever reason, it just seems to get away faster. I don't actually know if it's faster. Let's like test. Let's actually look. Let's have the Boudica and the Guan like stand in the same spot and see which one is actually faster. It just seems to me like the Boudica Zug gets caught out and gets bad trades way more often than the Guan Scipio. And then even in a fight like that where neither one got all that targeted, they did have... Okay, so the Boudica is slightly faster than the Guan, which is because in Siege of Orleans, you have the you have these auxiliary skills, and I basically focused entirely on speed on the Boudica. I'm getting 25% march speed from the Edward, and I'm getting 15% march speed from the El Cid. I'm using the El Cid skill instead of Thutmose. Even though Thutmose does like really good damage, his second skill, it does 15% attack, 10% march speed, and 15% increased damage outside of Alliance territory. I just prefer that 15% extra march speed on the Boudica, so she can keep up with my other marches. I just got a transmutation stone, nice. But in a fight like this, maybe I should switch to the Thutmose, in all honesty, because I'm outside of Alliance territory, and I don't think speed is mattering too much here. This is just like about how hard you hit. Rios, welcome to the stream. This looks like so much fun. I'm having one farming KvK after another. Yeah, in all honesty, this is probably like the most fun I've had. Like this exact like fight we're in right now is probably the most fun I've had. Simply because it's like chill, right? Other people are doing the decision making and I can literally just fight in the open field and talk to you all. So this is fun. This is literally fun right here. I had no plans of live streaming, but I just got on and I was like, oh, this is actually perfect. Eli just said he hopes it's a good trade, and if it's a bad trade, he'll cry. Right, so they're coming in on us, but I'm ready. Okay, looks like they're swarming the rally. Goodness. So yeah, no one's attacking me yet, which is freaking amazing. Like, I don't even know what I'm hitting. Like, who am I hitting here? You know what I should have done there? I should have seen that the Guan was getting hit and just retreated the Guan. It looks like they're swarming the rally right now. I think the rally's gonna go down. Maybe I can get in the rally. I'm gonna get in there with the Bood. And then I'm just gonna retreat the Guan. So my Boudica's in the rally. Now I'm gonna retreat the Guan back to my city and I'll just fight with this Nevsky. I'll just snipe some people. Let's snipe some people in the back row with this Nevsky and just see how freaking hard it hits. Let's see who this is. This guy who's like way out of position here. All right, let's take a look at that report. Eli's saying it's very good. Eli was saying that one's good. Look at all this AoE that the Zug is hitting. There's the rally. I mean, we took more deads. But... I mean, the dead loss is pretty bad there. Addie's saying that on voice. This is interesting. Like, this is such an interesting report. Let me make sure the Nevsky's not doing anything. Yeah. They might push our ball back here. That's a really interesting report. I don't know how you assess this. Where is that report? Why am I missing it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I mean, how do you assess this? We got more kill points, which people like, so people will keep fighting. We took, 550k more deads for that. It's a little bit, I don't know. It's hard to say. Alright, so Tingbeth just ported here to this flag that we built. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I got the rune easily. Nice. Yeah, so they pushed in on us here. So, I mean, I think we have like a pretty nice fight on our hands here. They're not going to just let us stand under their flag. That's really not... that is not what this enemy is all about. They are all about being in our territory. So, I think we're going to have a nice like back and forth open field fight here. And I'm glad you're all here for it. Dawn says, I'm a Cav main. Is XY Mechmed 5522 and Nev Joan both Max and Huo William good pairings? I got a Max YSG and I can always do XY William, Huo Joan, and Nev YSG if needed. I think you're on the right track, Dauntless. I mean, those are very similar marches to what I will be running. I think the Huo William, neither of them being maxed, will be good in some KvKs where like the competition is not very good, but in a competitive KvK where you're fighting against like very good opponents, I think the trade starts to get a little bit not good enough to be using that march until you get at least the Huo maxed. I mean, obviously you're focusing on finishing the Huo and the William. Like I totally get that it's going to take a little time. But I think you're on the right track, and I would probably just stick with what you have. Because I think the Mech Med's a little bit better than the YSG as a pair for XY, simply because he gives you a bit of tankiness. And like XY, you know, XY YSG would be just like too squishy. And I think if you put the YSG with the Nevsky, you're kind of like, yeah, the problem is like Nevsky Joan is so freaking good, right? And it's so good to pair Joan with like an extremely good, like, either tanky commander or like a skill damage enhancing commander like Huo. I saw that Seawill actually runs Nevsky William, and then he runs Huo Joan. So I think I'm gonna do that. I think that maybe like unlocks the power of Joan a little bit better. Huo does. And like Nevsky William is kind of an old school. It's like an old school pair that's like it slapped so hard. Nevsky William never really had its moment in the sun because Joan came out and then everyone ran Nevsky Joan. But the truth is Nevsky William slapped super freaking hard. So I think I'm gonna go with Nevsky William and Huo Joan, and just give it a try. You know, I mean, if it's good enough for Seawill, then it's good enough for me. Donald says that's why I don't want to separate them. Yeah, I think there's like the only thing. Okay, so like I just said, I'm gonna do Nevsky William. The only thing about Nevsky Joan that's like really good is that it's like so good for swarming, right? If you might all of a sudden need to swarm a flag, and you kind of want to have that Nevsky Joan out there rather than the Nevsky William. But you know, I'm gonna try the Huo Joan just to see, because I think let's look at Huo's skills. Let's kind of like go through and see like what the thought process is behind Huo Joan. I mean, it just got the slow and the single target nuke, 40% attack, some march speed, and then 5% extra damage to archers. And so then on this third skill, if they've been on the map for 30 seconds, then it deals, and it has fought in one battle, then it's going to do a 30% skill damage bonus. And I think this is really the reason Huo Joan works, is that this skill damage bonus is so good on the Joan AoE. And I think Joan also has a bit of normal attack. Joan has more normal attack than Nevsky does. And so Huo has a bit of normal attack as well. And then again, here's more skill damage boost. Here's another skill damage boost on Huo's fourth skill. 20% more skill damage. And so all of this just unlocks Joan's AoE damage in just such an unbelievably good way. I mean, Nevsky unlocks the Joan in the sense that he protects her, and he's tanky, gives a lot of stats. But the Joan is the damage dealer of the pair, because she's getting like casting her active skill like more often. She gets what am I looking for here? I think it's the fourth skill, right? Yeah. When the secondary commander of their troop uses an active skill, they have a 100% chance to cast Sacred Banner. This effect can trigger once every 10 seconds. And so this is having Joan cast her active skill twice. And so that's just insane damage. And Huo is buffing that damage. And so, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of surprised we don't see Huo Joan more, especially considering Seawill is using that march, because it just makes so much sense, and people love to do insane damage. Let's look at, we didn't look at the last reports, did we? All right, so here's the Boudica. Yeah, the Boudica did not trade positively that time. The Guan got wrecked. And then the Nevsky did insanely well. And this has kind of been like the story of my KvK in all honesty. The Boudica will sometimes trade badly. The Guan generally does trade well, but for some reason the enemy targets my Guan like insanely much. Like, I don't know why. There's been times where like there will be like, we'll be in a fight with like 10 people. Like there'll be like 10 to 15 marches like right next to my city and we'll be fighting. I'll pull the Guan out and like it will get instantly targeted. I'll retreat the Guan to my city. I'll pull it back out. It'll get instantly targeted again. It's so weird. But you know, this has been the story of the KvK, is like my other marches are kind of just trading positive sometime, trading negative sometime. But then the Nevsky Joan makes up for everything. The Nevsky Joan just gives me all my profits. So yeah. Thanks, welcome to the stream. Dauntless says maybe I'll switch the William and Joan around, Huo Joan and Nev William. Yeah, I would definitely give that a shot, Dauntless, especially if you're not like a big like swarmer, especially if you're just like open, you're trying to do like the best you can in the open field. I think that might be like the play. I think that actually might be the play. So let's see what's going on here. All right, so the rally is coming soon. I feel like we need to go in, but I'm gonna let these guys cook. We're just going. I mean, Grasshopper's here. Grasshopper's in the front. I'm kind of feeling what Grasshopper's feeling here. Which is we got to go in. All right, now they're saying go in. Now they're saying go in. All right, I'm gonna try to get like really good trades this time. I'm gonna be like kind of selfish. I'm just gonna be kind of selfish here. Honestly, this rally is scuffed. Like this rally is just not gonna do anything. We did not push in fast enough, so this rally is gonna be scuffed. So therefore, I am just gonna be very selfish, and I'm going to try to get very good trades here for the live stream audience. Eli's on voice talking about the Koreans funding his Zenith. If you're just 60 million power, I would give Huo Joan a try. It might do very well. All right, so like I'm pulling him in right now. Look at how I'm pulling him in. Look at how I just pulled that dude in. I just love fights like this. I love these chill little fights, especially after like a long hard war. Let's just have some fun, man. Let's have some fun in the open field. Yeah, that rally didn't have a chance. They swarmed it down. It is what it is. I mean, these guys are very aggro. Look, it's the same guy, isn't it? No, it's not. There's moving. Moving is like one of their big whales. Moving hits like super freaking hard. Moving hits insanely hard. Like here, okay, here's a good example. There's some marches in our lines, but I'm like, I have full health and I have good movement. So like I'm going to the front to catch more bait, right? I'm catching more bait. I don't need to, too many people focus on killing that like one remaining like easy to kill march. Like, look at this madness. Look at this complete madness. I mean, I didn't even pull those guys. They just charged in. But I don't know. If you have good movement, do not stand in the freaking back and kill like one march. Believe me, you have teammates who can do that. Get out there and pull in more people, or get out there and actually establish a front line. Like the thing is, it's one thing to be out front and pull people in. It's another thing to be out front and actually establish a front line that like the people behind you can feel good about. Because like it's like me, right? I can't stand right at the front and just take damage. Like I'm not thick like that. I don't have the gear. I don't have the T5, and I don't have the resources and speed ups to like just, you know, take these like very intense high leverage trades where like we're both like running each other's marches to zero, and you know, you're filling up your hospital like every time you go out. Like I just don't have the I don't have the anything to do that stuff. But I do want to stand at the front. And what kind of screws me is like when our front line collapses, everybody retreats. And all of a sudden even though I'm not moving, the enemy's just like moving into me. And they are kind of wrecking me. But I'm going to try to pull somebody else in here, because this is like a equilibrium point here in the fight. Like neither side is really has an edge, I guess you could say. We're kind of like establishing. All right, so I just pulled this guy in. Like I literally just pulled this dude in. You know what I mean? I completely pulled that dude in. And we all cleaned it up. So this one's pretty good. I think our trades are going to be pretty good here. The Nevsky is a little bit low. The Nevsky's a little bit low. But the Guan, I think the Guan is probably going off here a bit. Look, I think I just pulled this dude in as well. Actually, I don't even know who pulled this dude in. But we're unloading on this guy here. Alright, they're definitely pushing us back. They're definitely pushing us back here. But we're getting some very nice trades. Very nice trades. Alright, we're just going to clean this guy up. Yeah, we're just getting some nice trades here. Is it still the last day of Mightiest Governor? It is. It is. So we're getting some Mightiest Governor points here. I'm trying to get in the top 10 or top 15 so I can get 10 Henry heads and finally unlock Henry. So I'm actually fighting for something here. I'm fighting for gold heads. Josiah, welcome to the stream. Oh, Milk. Let's go. I think that's Milk in the chat. Archer King said boo. Shout out to Milk. M. Hades Gaming, welcome to the stream. Math V. Harjap. Harjap asks, is Alex Scipio better or Scipio Charles? I would think that probably Alex Scipio is better. But actually, the thing you would run with Charles Scipio is you would run Charles primary, Scipio secondary. Which is actually a pretty good march. I don't know if it's better than Alex Scipio, but it might be. Charles Scipio is actually pretty freaking good. So, I would give it a try. I would give Charles Scipio a try, but I think Alex Scipio is probably better just because Alex is a better commander than Charles. But that's what I would say. I think we can actually turn this fight here. Let's see if it happens. This is kind of where I sometimes misplay a little bit. I probably should have just retreated the Boudica. Yeah, I need to remember what hotkeys I'm using. Yeah, I need to okay, so Boudica's E, Guan is S, Nevsky is W. I need to remember what hotkeys and like actually use my hotkeys to like retreat just one march. As we kind of clean these guys up on our territory here, even though I'm very low. I'm very, very low here. Yeah, so I'm retreating the Nevsky here. I'm gonna retreat everybody. I'm gonna lose this rage. Unfortunately, I'm gonna lose this rage unless I can find somebody real quick. Yeah, alright, I lost the rage there, but it is what it is. Let's retreat, take a look at those reports. I think those reports are gonna be completely amazing, actually. Yeah, really positive on the Nevsky. Nicely positive on the Boudica. And then a very, very, very good Guan Scipio trade. And of course, the thing you have to remember about Guan Scipio is that it's also doing a ton, it's giving you a ton of utility. It's giving a ton of utility to your team. You're getting the Guan silence. I guess I retreated at not like a great time here, but we'll see how this rally does without me there to help protect it. I mean, this was pretty good timing for us. This was pretty good timing. We pushed the enemy back just as the rally was coming. So I think we're gonna have a pretty good rally here in this spot. Everybody, be sure to throw a like on the stream. That really helps me out. That's the free-to-play way of supporting my stream. Shout out to all the members of the channel, and yeah, shout out to everybody who subscribes and is hanging out. Let me bring these marches out again. One thing I will point out as this Guan gets back, I'm just waiting for the Guan to get home. One thing I really like about multi-queue is that when you use multi-queue, like I'm using now. Okay, why is this Guan? Here's what I'm confused by. Like, the reason I'm not using multi-queue is because why is the Guan? Oh, I didn't save it. Okay, I didn't save it. Alright, let me see if multi-queue actually works here. Let's see. How many troops did I have here? 356, 356. Nope. Yeah, for some weird reason, like the double C always multi-queues out. Okay, yeah. Basically, the issue is like when my hospital gets full, I don't have enough archers to fulfill the multi-queue requirements, and so then the Boudica doesn't come out. But anyway, the point I wanted to make about multi-queue is that it essentially brings your marches out in the exact same order every single time. And so then it becomes very easy to remember the hotkeys of each march. Like, Boudica has basically been the S key for me this whole KvK. Nevsky's been the W key for me this whole KvK. And Guan has been the A key for me this whole KvK. So it looks like they want to do an infantry rally next. Ooh, I don't know if that's gonna... I don't know if... So it looks like the Koreans want to do an infantry rally, which is fine. It's good to try different things. Muhammad, welcome to the stream. Any thoughts about Liu Qi? For sure, for sure. I think Liu Qi's super duper good. I think Liu Qi's like a top 5 commander. He is arguably the best infantry commander. On my stream last night, I actually compared Liu Qi's first skill to Scipio's first skill, and I think objectively Liu Qi's first skill is better than Scipio's first skill, for sure. He does AoE damage to 5 targets, whereas Scipio only does AoE damage to 3 targets. He does a 40% march speed slow to up to 5 targets, whereas Scipio does a 30% health reduction to 3 targets. I think you can argue that the health reduction is better than the march speed slow, but I don't really think it is. I think the 40% march speed slow is such a massive game changer with the way fights are happening nowadays in Rise of Kingdoms, that I literally think Liu Qi's first skill is objectively better than Scipio. If we get a quiet moment, maybe we can compare the other of his skills to Scipio's other skills. Because Scipio does have like all good skills, and that's what makes him so good. But I think Liu Qi is basically as good as Scipio, and therefore he is a slam dunk top 5 open field commander. You know, I think the best 5 commanders in the open field are probably going to be Scipio, Liu Qi, Nevsky, Zug, and then, you know, maybe Boudica, maybe Huo. Not really sure. Maybe Joan, right? I think like Joan, Boudica, and I think Joan, Boudica, and oh, who am I forgetting? And Huo are kind of like all in the mix for like that final top 5 spot. But I think the top 4 of Scipio, Zug, Nevsky, and Lucci is probably pretty solid right there. Okay, so this is like one of those spots where I just wish we were all more aggressive, because we like have such a numbers advantage here. We have such an obvious numbers advantage, and I just wish everyone would like push in. But, you know, at the same time, you just have to let everyone play the game they want to play, especially when we're kind of having like a fun... We're having like a fun fight here. And I think sometimes, like, if I were the leader here and I were on voice and I was like trying to like set markers and stuff like that, I would probably like tell people to push right now. I mean, honestly, I'm sure I would like set a marker saying push. And I'd be a little bit annoying on voice chat about it. But you know what? People are having fun. The vibes are good in voice chat. Sometimes you just like let people fight the way they're gonna fight. What rally do we have up? Oh, so we don't have a rally up right now. I think people are kind of deciding what to rally with. Let's take a look at those reports as well. The Nevsky is just like going off today. The Nevsky is absolutely going off. Really good report from the Guan. And yeah, the Boudica is just like, it's just like so hard for me to say that Boudica Zug is better than Guan Skippy, because like Guan Skippy's reports are just consistently better. Consistently better. And at the same time, the Guan Scipio is giving so much utility, right? Guan's doing an AoE silence. Like he's doing a little AoE silence. And Scipio is doing an AoE health reduction. And I think that's about all the utility they have. Although let's just go through the skills and make sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the only utility, but that's massive utility for your team, along with a very good trade on its own. And so that's really the only issue with Lucci. The only issue with Lucci is that if you run one infantry march like I do, it's kind of tough to replace the Guan. You know, it's kind of tough to spend 700 gold heads on Lucci just to replace the Guan. And that's kind of the thing I'm struggling with right now. But I think it certainly makes sense for me to build Huo first. Even if Lucci is like objectively better than Huo, I think it makes sense to build the Lucci first. Or the Huo first, simply because this is like a genuine slam dunk upgrade to my 3 cavalry marches, right? So we're on the road to Huo at this point. We're on the road to Huo. Alright, looks like we're charging in. Crazy Hayase at the front of the line. I'm just gonna kind of wait. Like, we don't have to go in too fast. We need to wait for like everyone to get here. Like, if there's a marker that says charge, then like it's good to just wait. It's good to wait for everybody. You know what I mean? And this is why I didn't refresh. It's because I wanted to be ready in case we were gonna do something. Like, yeah, my marches aren't at full health, but you know what? You got to be here for the key fights. And us charging in is definitely. They're talking about a Charlemagne rally on, they're talking about the Charlemagne rally here. Alright, so I think I pulled that guy in. I think I pulled somebody in there. And I'm just unloading on him. I think he's hitting my Boudica, right? I pulled somebody in. He is hitting my Boudica. Actually, no, he's not hitting my Boudica because I'm not getting, there's no red flashes on my screen. So this is like a pretty typical fight here where we push into them, but then the enemy ends up like pushing into us instead. because they're just simply more aggressive than we are. And it's just kind of a, it's just very, it's just like, it's been this way for a week, you know, two and a half weeks at this point, or 2 weeks and a couple extra days, because we are on day 16 of war here. We are still fighting in the zone of Champagne, which is where the fight started. Very good counteroffensive value here for Uni. Yeah, really nice to have an alliance skill on for a fight like this. That's probably going to last for a few hours. You know, you got to get that extra value. You got to have a rune. You need to retreat your marches when they get kind of low. Like right now, I should probably just retreat. I'm just going to unload on a couple people here in the back line, but then I'm going to go ahead and refresh these marches. Let me just unload on one more person here. Let me just get a couple more sad faces, and then I'll go home. I just can't resist sometimes. My Nevsky is still at like half health, slightly below half health. I just had to unload on a couple more people. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like really good reports here again. I think some of these reports are combining. Like I think the reports from the last few fights have all combined. This was at 1735. Yeah, so actually you can see that these reports are all combining across a pretty wide span of time. Right, so this is like over 6 minutes of time these reports are combining. Even though I was standing around not doing anything for some of that. Mohammed says, so Scipio Lucci is good? Yeah, Scipio Lucci is going to be the number one. It is the number one infantry march in the game. Yeah, Scipio Lucci. I mean, it's arguably the best march in the game. Like, if you want to get good trade, I mean, Nevsky Joan might give you better trades than Scipio Lucci, but it might not, right? Because Scipio Lucci is like very tanky. It can stand and fight. It provides tremendous utility to your team, and it's very tanky, very resilient. Yeah, Scipio Lucci is definitely top 3 open field marches in the game. I mean, I think the top 3 open field marches are going to be Nevsky Joan, Boudica Zug, and Scipio Lucci. So here comes another archer rally from Danky. Looks like we're not gonna. Looks like this rally is not gonna last too long. But let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. What about Sargon? I mean, I don't know too much about Sargon. I mean, I think Sargon is good. I think Sargon's a good commander, but I don't think it's like amazing. I don't think you have to go out of your way to build Sargon at this point, right? I know that Lucci Sargon did well in some like testing and stuff like that, like 1v1 testing. But I just think in the real world, it is a different story, right? It's just a different story in the real world, and Sargon is not particularly tanky. If we go over Sargon's skills here, my Sargon's like really low level if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I haven't done anything with Sargon, but you know, he just has a weird first skill, like kind of an underwhelming first skill. He does have 20% attack. He applies these odd stacks, which are a nice like debuff and kind of a Tamiris type poison ability, damage enhancing ability. He has 15% march speed. He does damage bonus. You know, 10% defense is basically nothing. So I mean, the thing about Sargon is he's just not that tanky. He's just not that tanky. Whereas like Lucci has a bunch of stuff. Lucci has 20% defense, skill. He gets 20% skill damage taken reduction. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit more. It's a bit more. 20% defense plus 20% skill damage reduction is just a bit more tankiness from Lucci. So, I mean, I just think Lucci's better than Sargon at this point, and so I just wouldn't go out of my way to, you know what, I'm just gonna, let me heal real quick. Hopefully I don't run out of resources. I'm kind of like realizing that this stream is basically going to last as long as I have resources. And my resources are not amazing at the moment, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm stuck on tech here. Okay, while I'm healing, let me clear out some of this teleport space in case things get a little bit busier here in the back line. Well, shout out to this territory. Shout out to this territory where, like, even though I got here late, I'm still only like a minute away from the front line. Pretty freaking cool. Is anybody fighting over here? No. Alright, so my helps are maxed. HDT, day's been going good. I mean, I literally just got up. I just got up knowing that we were going to attack. I got here a little bit late because I wasn't really actually sure what kind of an offensive it was going to be. I didn't know if we were going to, like, attack, like, a bunch of places or what. So I thought maybe it would take a little bit a while for, like, the enemy to respond. But I got here maybe an hour after it started, and, you know, it was in full effect. Oh, they're actually overrunning us here. Okay, well, alright, I guess I need to get back out there. Alright, my house, I heal my hospital, so I have full marches. And I think the fighting is getting a little bit more interesting here, because they are definitely overrunning us. Isaac says I'm working on Chi now, and we'll probably try the Chi Alex pair, and hopefully keep the Guan Scipio together. If it doesn't work, probably Scipio Chi. Yeah, that seems like a good plan. I mean, I think you know, yeah, infantry is definitely in like it's in an interesting spot where, like, 2 infantry marches is definitely pretty good, and the question is, like, who do you use for those 2 marches? Who is the Lu Chi pair if you're using 2? Because obviously if you're using 2 infantry marches, you want to keep the Guan Scipio together. But then it's like, do I build Sargon just to use him for now, or do I wait for, like, a new infantry commander? Is there some other combo that I could use? You know, obviously in there are a couple of KvK formats at this point that have relics. There's Warriors Unbound, and then there's also Swords of Stratagem, or whatever you call that, the Stratagem KvK. Both of them have relics, and so I think the play really is to, like, relic somebody and use them as a secondary to Lu Chi, like, you know, relic Joan or something like that, and use that as the secondary to Lu Chi, and then keep the Guan Scipio together. The other option is to simply run Scipio Lu Chi and just have, like, literally one of the best marches in the game. I've heard that if your Sargon isn't the primary, just keep him at 5550, so the stacks of odd don't reset. Yeah, I believe that is very common to do, and I think that's totally fine and probably makes the most sense. I don't think it's, like, way better than a maxed Sargon, but yeah, I think that's good advice, Isaac. Banks says Relic Saladin with Liu and become immune to skill damage. That would be pretty interesting. I think the one problem with that is that I don't think the March speed debuffs stack, right? So, like, Saladin also has a March speed reduction, and this is just going to get countered or canceled out by Lu Chi's March speed reduction. I mean, I'm trying to think of, like, who would be, like, a good pair for Lu Chi, like, from a relic perspective. I mean, he's not enhancing damage in any way. I mean, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about Lu Chi and Sargon. The reason I wouldn't build Sargon at this point like after Lu Chi. I wouldn't build Sargon after Lu Chi because Lu Chi does smite damage. And so really his best pair is probably sometime in the future. It's going to be some future smite damage commander. And so you kind of just have to wait. You don't have to force a second infantry march now. You can have Lu Chi, Scipio, and Guan. Maybe you put the Guan on the bench, and then you wait for that Lu Chi pair to appear in the future. And we might get lucky. We might get lucky, and there's going to be like a smite damage archer commander or something like that. And then you play Warriors Unbound or you play Stratagems, and you build that new archer commander, you relic it, and then you pair the Lu Chi with the archer commander. Or the other way around, you could relic the Lu Chi even. And then you're kind of like, then you've got an amazing pair for Lu Chi in that particular KvK, and you wait a little bit longer for the next set of infantry where he probably is going to get like an amazing pair. Yeah, Isaac, I'm glad you took my advice about special medicines, and yeah, I hope that works out for you. I think it will. I think it will. I just think for most players, going special medicines before all damage or call to arms and stuff like that is just the way to do it. And HT asks, I see what's happening in your KvK right now. You know what? We're just like we're draining the enemy here. We're draining the enemy. I think Kingsland starts in like 4 or 5 days maybe. And they don't really gain a lot from fighting us. They really don't. It's going to be hard for them to push us out of this zone. So, I mean, obviously they are draining us as well. But we're just trying to continue to soften up the enemy and give our allies the best possible chance to win in Kingsland. And, the fact that the enemy is out here like fighting us in a pretty significant way says to me that they are quite confident that they have enough resources and speed ups to fight in Kingsland. So, it's just war, You do the best you can in war. The enemy is doing the same. I think the enemy is pretty freaking confident, honestly. And I mean, you can see why. You can see why. When you click on a lot of these names, you see some very, very big players here. But I mean, some of them are a little bit lower. Some of them are starting to lose some power. They've taken the most deads. 1393 has taken the most deads of any kingdom in this KvK. And they've not done the most kill points. Our kingdom has actually done the most kill points. It's very close. I think we have like 50. Wait, do we really only have 50 billion KP? Let me look at these. The stats came out last night, so I was just looking at those yesterday. Let me give you the actual numbers here. Let me give you the actual numbers. Oh no, we have yeah, our kingdom has 51 billion kill points, while 1393 has like 50 billion KP. We basically have identical KP, 770 and 1393. But they have more left in the tank. Like, even though we have the same number of KP, they have more left in the tank at this point. Which is just like the reality of the game, is that some kingdoms come better prepared for war than others, right? I think these guys have had like some relatively easy KvKs for a while, and now this has kind of been like a perfect scenario for them, where they have this opponent that they can genuinely, drain themselves on, and have a good chance of winning, and have a very good fight. So I think we kind of like walked into a situation where the enemy really liked fighting us and looked forward to fighting us, because number one, they had like a very long holiday where they were like all had time off work, and number two, they just had a lot of power to burn, so yeah, I don't really love the idea of like fulfilling my enemies' like wants and desires, but sometimes you have to do it, and I think that's what has happened in this KvK. They wanted to spend a lot of power. Oh yeah, we did not push fast enough here. I don't know. I'm just chilling, right? I'm just streaming and chilling. So it is what it is. Uni's rallying, so he has a very good sense of like when to cancel. But yeah, we just didn't push fast enough here. I'm sort of like watching like trying to watch the rally. I mean, the rally's holding up, even without like any rains. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what that report looks like. Isaac says Scipio with Relic Minamoto has me really curious because of the museum buffs. Has anyone tried this? Yeah, that would be interesting. Because Minamoto's museum buffs just give a ton of stats, right? I can't remember if they give like skill damage boost at all, but yeah, I mean, I think that's very interesting, right? Is using some sort of relic commander with Lucci. You could even use Mechmet, I think. As long as you're using a museum buff commander that's not giving you a skill damage boost, which will not affect Lucci's active, I think a museum buff type commander as a secondary to Lucci, just making him even tankier, for example, or maybe giving him some march speed, I think that kind of thing makes sense. Alright, so we seem to be getting pushed back here a bit. I probably need to fight like a little bit more out front. You know? Probably need to fight a little bit more out front just because our front line collapses, unfortunately. Unfortunately, our front line collapses. And so sometimes I need to be a little bit more selfless and help our front line actually stand its ground. But it just hurts, man. It just hurts. It just hurts. I need to... Alright, here's the problem. I'm not focusing on retreating just one march. That's my problem. I need to figure out... The hardest part with... The biggest thing that I can get better at is figuring out which march is being attacked and only retreating that march. That's the biggest thing I can do. Like right now, it's got to be the Nevsky. It's got to be the Nevsky. But what happens is I retreat the Nevsky, and in that 1 second, my other marches get pulled out of position. And so I end up retreating all my marches anyway. It's kind of scuffed. Anyway, I'm getting wrecked here, and I don't have a lot of resources left, and I want to keep streaming. So I'm just going to retreat. I'm just retreating. Yep, I'm just going to retreat here. Alright, that was like a more like realistic fight that we've had against these enemies. So let's take a look at those reports. Why did they all go on? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so somebody took AoE deads. That's nice. So the Boudica got a winning report there. The Guan got a winning report. And the Nevsky got a very good winning report. So, okay, I mean... We got pushed back, but I guess I was playing selfishly enough that I still got the good trades. You know, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, there's some other... So, actually, you know, we were talking earlier about, like, 2 infantry marches and who you would pair Lucci with. Somebody said something really interesting on my stream last night. Who's attacking me? What? Somebody said something interesting on my stream last night where they said, I think it was Why Am I Here, was saying, you can use, with the auxiliary skills, you could use Flavius as a secondary to Lucci. And I thought there was a bit of synergy here if I look at it again. I mean, he's not like doing anything with skill damage, so you're not like, there's not any anti-synergy with Lucci's smite damage. And Flavius is just giving you like a lot of stats. He's giving you some counterattack. He's putting a debuff. And I mean, there's no like synergy here, but there's no anti-synergy with like Lucci Flavius. So, I mean, if you want like a really nice tanky march, I think that would actually work pretty well. Yeah, so its arc has been like a guy who's talked a lot of trash during this KvK. Definitely a good fighter, but I mean, basically, I said early on in the KvK in one of my streams, I said that you know, Picardi camp was inactive in Eve of the Crusade. Like I said, they were inactive in Eve of the Crusade and in like honor points, which quite frankly they are. Like they're way behind in honor points, right? Like, or they're pretty far behind in honor points compared to every other kingdom or every other camp. So all I did was say they were inactive in Eve and in honor point grinding. And I guess through like some sort of game of telephone, this became translated to me saying that they were an inactive camp. And so once they started beating us in this zone, it became like this way for them to trash talk and be like, oh, you said we were inactive. How inactive are we now? But I mean, what I said was so freaking reasonable and like not... I don't think that's even remotely an insult in any way whatsoever to say that a kingdom is inactive in Eve of the Crusade. I just don't think that's negative. Like, that's not taking a shot at anyone. Now, I've probably taken some shots at them since then. Some somewhat coded shots. But honestly, the trash talk has eased off in this KvK. I think the respect is growing between the two sides. And we're just having some good fights at this point. So, I mean, shout out to everybody in 1393. This has been a very memorable war. They fought very well, fought very hard, you know, and we fought hard as well. So, you know, that's just where it's at. LaQuest, welcome to the stream. Doing well, doing well. You know, other people are running the show here, setting markers. I'm just following the markers, and I could not be happier, honestly. This is like the most fun that I can have in the game. I wish I could do it. Honestly, I wish I could do this more often. And I kind of want to get an account that I can play in like some other kingdom where I can literally just live stream an entire war, not have any leadership responsibilities whatsoever, like zero responsibilities, and just stream it, talk to you all, chronicle a war from start to finish live on stream, and just kind of like show you guys how I would play if I just had like an open field account that I played, not selfishly, but like just where I was fully focused on the open field. That's all I did. I kind of wanted to be able to show people what I'm capable of doing in a situation like that. Because the truth is, on my main account, in this kingdom, in this alliance, in like the main priority that I have in this game, I do something totally different. I play this game totally differently. I fight in the open field, but I'm also, you know, a garrison captain. I'm setting markers. You know, a lot of times in a war like this, there's things happening in many places at once. When the enemy is attacking us, they're often attacking many flags at once. A lot of things need to be reinforced. A lot of players need to be motivated. You got to get like farms in place to reinforce flags. All sorts of things have to happen in war. And I do a bunch of that stuff. I do a ton of that stuff, and it's stressful, but it's also like extremely important. You need people setting the tone. Like honestly, we're not really setting the tone here. Like it's kind of lazy. Like there's a little bit of laziness happening here, in all honesty. Like the markers are coming late. The rallies are not, we're not really, like honestly, we should be holding these rallies. Like we should be like, we should have a timer in the rallies, and the rallies should just release when we're like in a good position, right? So I mean, like there's some things that are like not exactly perfect that are that's happening right now. And in a normal situation, I would probably be like helping to do some of those things. But you know what? I'm like a little bit burnt out, and I'm so happy to just let other people do it. And it's not a big deal, because the truth is we can just simply cancel this rally quickly. We can simply cancel the rally. I mean, yeah. Yes, the rally's still full, which is interesting. So here's what's happening, right? And I didn't point this out, and this is like why us coming in late is not that big of a deal, is people can reinforce from Adinavo City. Like people can just sit in Adinavo City and then join the rally from there. And so that's like pretty good. All right, so it's got to be the Nevsky that's getting targeted. So I'm retreating the Nevsky. The Guan, see, the Guan is still hitting. This is perfect. I just actually did that very well. Now maybe the Guan's getting pulled out a little bit there, but like that's what I need to do all the freaking time. Is I need to retreat the marches that are getting targeted, but leave the marches that are not to keep hitting. Like that's just so freaking good. Now I would probably remove this #2 coalition marker, because it's really blocking us. If anything, we should be fighting below #2 for the simple fact that we can see better from there. Like, look at how hard it would be to see if you zoom in. It'd be very hard to see. I mean, I just think like the amount of focus that you can bring, I think the amount of focus that you can bring to an open field fight is like insanely high. Like you see there that I was like ready to retreat the Nevsky. It fanned forward, and I knew the Nevsky would be the one that gets targeted. So I sort of like proactively retreated the Nevsky while the other two marches kept hitting. And again, I think it's obviously the Nevsky that's fanning forward. So I'm just retreating the Nevsky. The other two are still hitting. And look, I think the Nevsky is not really pulling anyone in, but still, he got away. He got away. Isaac Draymond says some quiet Eve kingdoms can bang in KvK. KvK restart. Kingdom was a little quiet in Eve, and they're taking it to 1647 now. Oh yeah, I mean, we, you know, in the last KvK, 1903 was last in Eve. And then they were one of the stronger kingdoms in the KvK. And to be honest, they also took offense to me saying they were inactive in Eve. And I mean, I don't think that's like I don't really think that's an insult. Or I don't mean it as an insult. I just mean it as like an observation of like one form of activity. I don't think Eve's a very big deal at all. But I think it tells something. I think it says something about kingdoms. You know, especially the first stage, like the first Marauder stage. I really think the scores in that do matter. Because it, you know, the Marauder stage is like an incredible opportunity to grind and get a bunch of rewards. So like if kingdoms are not interested in the Marauder rewards, if they're not like willing to put in many hours to grind those rewards, that does say something about a kingdom. Now, it hasn't translated into inactivity for Picardy in KvK. They're very active. They're very active fighters, but they're obviously not super active in terms of grinding and building their accounts up in that way. I think that's a valid observation that tells an accurate story of the makeup of some of these kingdoms. All right, so we're okay. So, oh, Uni's getting city rallied here. Okay. Yeah, there's no AOE from Tariq Bakal, so I can just fight here just fine. So yeah, you can see how like if I'm streaming and I'm just like fighting the open field and talking to you all, I basically have like no clue what's going on. Like I didn't even know Uni was getting rallied. I'm literally on voice chat with them, but like the volume is so low that I can't really even hear that much. And it's like, you know, it's like I just have no clue what's going on. And that's basically why I don't live stream during war that much, is because it's just like a huge distraction for me knowing what's going on, working with my teammates, and giving us the best chance for success. Let's see if there's any reports here in yeah, not too many reports here. It looks like Uni forgot to put auxiliary skills on that city defense. But here's the report. Yeah, interesting. I guess I'll refresh while I look at this report. Yeah, so I think the issue here is that there's not any auxiliary skills on the Yan YSS. So, kind of a bad trade, actually. And so they're going to go for it again. They're definitely going to go for it again. But I think it's going to be a different story this time. Bank says some kingdoms don't want to spend AP on Marauders to push honor in Lost Kingdom. Yeah, that's a fair point as well, for sure. And I think maybe to some extent that's what 903 did. Yeah. Let me jump into voice here for a second. Yeah, I'm still streaming. Yeah, I have you guys on like low volume, so I'm like able to track like some of what's happening and then other parts I'm missing. But you know, going good. Got like 20 people watching. I'm getting some good trades, so yeah. So, you know, the enemy ball is getting bigger, our ball is getting smaller. I think this is kind of just what happens, you know? This just tends to be the pattern of this war, is that the enemy ball just keeps coming back in full strength. Like, it's the, you know, they just keep coming back. Every player who was in the last fight is back for this fight. Whereas we, this Groot person hits very freaking hard. I was looking at their setup, like of their stats recently. So it's like a pretty new account. It's like a 91 million player ID. They had very, very good ratio in their last KvK. They've done very well in Ark of Osiris. You know, good Champions of Olympia ranking. Not many deads, low deads. But it just seems like this is an open field focused account, like a very open field focused account. And I can believe it because this person hits freaking hard. I can't remember if I saw these screenshots or not. But anyway, Groot hits freaking hard. Like, definitely one of the standout players in terms of the open field. And I'm sure there's like certain Korean or Taiwanese players here who also hit like extremely hard, but it's very hard to like differentiate them just because I don't understand the characters. So like with Asian characters, it's, you have to see a name so many freaking times before you like really recognize who that person is. Or they have to have a very short name. And then maybe sometimes you can just sort of like remember like 2 characters, right? Which is the case with some of the Koreans in our kingdom, right? Like, see if I can there's not a great example these days, but like Honey Bear used to have like a 2-character name. And so I could just like very quickly identify that player. And I'm actually able to do the same with this guy. I call him Hangman just because the first character of his name looks like the Hangman game. I think this is a very common character in the Korean language, so it's not like it's not a great name. But anyway, like this guy's name I can pretty much recognize in the field. I pretty much am like, okay, he's out here, that's cool. Banks says Olympia rankings don't matter if you're facing the Scipio, Richard. Yeah, Banks, I actually rewatched our Olympia match last night. We only went 2-1. I don't know what goes on with my mind where I literally thought we went 3-1. Like, how can I get that wrong when it just happened? But yeah, we went 2-1 last night in Olympia. And we beat a team, like me, Banks, and Bomber beat a team of, you know, champions, ascendant, and very high-ranking Olympia players, even though Banks has these like old school infantry commanders like Constantine and Richard, and even though Bomber was rocking a Belisarius primary, we somehow won a match against a very good team anyway. So it was pretty cool. There is going to be a ceasefire at 20 UTC. So like at max, we have another hour and 40 minutes of fighting. The ceasefire is going to be... It's going to support players... Actually, Captain wrote a very good note here. I'm just going to read this note. We will have a ceasefire at 22 to 22 UTC to support players in the KvK affected by war. Because as people know, there are wars happening in real life right now. Please do not attack anyone at this time. We will make it clear in-game that the point the ceasefire begins and ends. Enjoy killing barbarians or show your support for those affected in chat during these hours. Or better yet, enjoy time with your family and friends, who some of us might take for granted. So yeah, that's a really great note by Captain there, and says it better than I can. Why the ceasefire is going to happen in a couple hours. But right now we're definitely fighting, and the enemy ball is like, I would retreat us right now. Like I would literally retreat us right now, to be honest. We just can't take this fight. But maybe we'll take this fight. I mean, maybe we can take this fight. I don't even know. Alright, they're swinging down. They were trying to rally Essie's flag here. I mean, the thing you do here in a fight like this when you're massively outnumbered is you just have to cuddle. You have to hope that people retreat in like the same... Alright, I need to focus here. Yeah, you just kind of want to like fall back as a cuddle ball, and just kind of like make it not hurt all that much. But I think like inevitably these kind of things are gonna hurt. So like, I think what I need to do is I need to just like retreat based on how my troops fan out. Like I think that's what I need to do. I just need to retreat whatever march fans forward and just assume that's the one that's going to get targeted. I'll be wrong sometimes, but I'll be right often enough. Okay, so the Guan retreated in an awkward way. I'm going to move the Guan independently and bring him back to my marches. Yeah, so we're just like getting wrecked here. It is what it is. Maybe I could have fought more team-oriented here and like run my marches down to 0. But I just have a hard time thinking that's better than like continuing to cuddle with my teammates Oh, see, now I'm getting wrecked. What is happening here? Alright, so the Boudica is getting wrecked. I'm trying to get the Nevsky to a city. It is what it is. Yeah, I probably stayed too long there. I probably stayed way too long there. That was probably, like, completely idiotic to continue fighting. I don't know. Alright. I do think the other thing that we have to do is we just can't, like, force these situations. Like, this is where me, as a leader, I would start making mistakes, where I would, like, try to get us to bring our ball back out. And I just don't know if that's viable, and I don't know if anybody, like, really wants to do that, right? Like, once the enemy is looking like this, it's just very hard for us to deal with it. And this is just what happened in this war, man. This is just what happened. We outplayed them for quite a while, but then eventually enough of them showed up where they just had way more numbers than us, and we were overwhelmed. Like, it takes them a while to mobilize sometimes. And, you know, I'm just gonna keep it respectful on this day, but it takes them a while to mobilize, but as time goes on, they mobilize more and more people. And that either means that they are just a super motivated kingdom, that where their players are gonna drop everything in their lives because there's a fight, or it means they're mobilizing in some other way. And, you know, that's the game that we're playing. That's Rise of Kingdoms at this time, right? They're streaming my stream. So I'm gonna, like, really lower it because it's, like, distracting me. But I was hearing that. It was, like, such a hilarious time to, like, to stream what I was saying, you know. See, I was so happy the whole time, but then as soon as they overrun us, I start whining about a bunch of crap. That's just what it is. Right on. Yeah, I haven't really been watching. I've just been kind of like, I'm not sure if I didn't want to, like, give away anything, but I mean, probably, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, they like kicking our ass. They like, you know, just overrunning us. Yep, yep. Sounds good. Dude, this just shows, like, how it's like, I really can't stream while, you know, doing normal fighting, because I literally have no clue what's going on, right? Like, I'm just talking to the stream and fighting the open field. Like, I have no bandwidth to, like, follow anything else other than that. So, I mean, I guess I don't feel bad about not streaming more in this KvK, because it would have been a complete shit show if I had. What, a swarm on a city today? Like, just now? Oh, that one. I know, that would have been hilarious. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just need to learn how to, like, I should have recorded everything, right? I should record all the voice chat just to have it there in case, because you never know what's gonna like pop up. But I just need to like figure out how to do that. I actually know how to do it. I just like don't do it. So, yeah. I should have. That would have been great. So basically, right now, I was just talking on voice chat, and there, Addy was saying that like there was this moment we had like a week or so ago, where, we were like swarming a flag. Here, one second, I'm gonna just jump here. To be fair, and for the record, I didn't get mad until I saw the report. It was the report that made me mad. Yeah, but I wasn't like dropping F-bombs and like super pissed. I was just mad. Okay. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But I got more mad when I saw the report. Yeah, so basically what they're talking about on voice right now is like this moment we had maybe it was a while ago. It was when we did like a fort drop like over in this corner, right? We did like an offensive over here in this corner where we like topped the mountain. And we fought for like almost a day over here in this corner. And like at a certain point we were doing very well. Like we were like winning. We were like almost like not free burning flags, but we were burning enemy flags. And basically our flag was going to connect to LX-17, and we were just like waiting for our flag to finish. And they had like 800k troops in a flag. And so people were like scouting it, and they were like, oh, you know, we can just swarm it right away. Like as soon as this flag is done, swarm their flag. There's only 800k in there. And I think there was already like there might have been like a Xeno Hera as the garrison captain already. I'm not even sure. I just remember like, I remember saying like, why don't we just rally it? Like, let's just rally it. And then Mappa was like, you swarm anything that has 800k. You see 800k in a flag, you just swarm it right away. Which is a fair point. That is a fair point. But then like, I don't know, it just like they started filling it up, and people were like, people wanted to swarm it so hard. And I was just like, you know what, we should probably just like rally this. But anyway, they swarmed this flag, and all the key players in LX-17, all their cities were like right around this flag. And so basically, they started swarming a Xeno Hera garrison. It wasn't full. It might have had like 1.2, 1.3 in it when we started swarming. But all their like most important players were literally right around this flag. So they just started like filling this Xeno Hera garrison nonstop as we're swarming it. And this went on for several minutes. These people like really committed to it. They like really committed to the swarm. And I think on some level they were probably like trolling me a little bit, because I'm like very like, you know, stick in the mud kind of player. Like, let's always do the correct optimal thing, even if it's takes longer. Let's just like get the good trade instead of like rushing things. And so they swarmed it for a really long time. People kind of like, they didn't break their marches off. They like ran their marches down to 0. And it was just like a very bad report. Like it was literally like, we took like 3.7 million more deads than the enemy. It was like 1.7 million deads to like 5.5 million deads. It was like an egregiously bad report for us. And I just got like very, very pissed on voice chat. And they were just saying that it's too bad that I didn't record the voice chat for that, because Addy said he would watch that video for 20 years. You know, which is interesting because I probably wouldn't, right? That's probably would be like my least favorite video. Me getting that pissed would be my least favorite video. Wreckful, welcome to the stream. Bank says 93 woke up, get the calls out. Isaac says, so for Guan accessories, we all know infantry has like 0% march speed, so I've been running him with ring and wind scars. You think it would be better horn and wind scars, or should I just ditch the wind scars? I think ring wind scars is better than horn wind scars. I think wind scars is quite good. I mean, I honestly think wind scars is quite good, and in a normal KvK where we don't have auxiliary skills, I could buy using wind scars. Obviously, you could see that I care about wind scars. I have like it talented, right? I have a special talent wind scar. So it's giving me 10.5 march speed on the Guan. It's legit. I think wind scars is legit. I think it depends on how you play though also. Like clearly I move around a lot. Like I move around a lot, and so speed really does matter to me. If you're more of someone who kind of like stands and fights, or if you're someone who like goes in on the enemy and like runs your marches down to 0, or if you're someone who kind of like fights around cities a lot and you like bring your 5 marches out and like you fight another, you know, you fight an enemy's 5 marches and you kind of like have these like grudge match type duels. If you're a player like that, then you want to just be as thick as possible and do as much damage as possible. And so you want to have like a ring and a horn. But if you're a movement-based player like myself, I think something like wind scars is pretty well justified. And earlier in the KvK, I was running... Maybe if I have an example of it. No, I don't... Earlier in the KvK, when I had like more marches and I had to spread these legendary accessories out, I was actually running the Call of the Loyal on the Boudica because I just felt like it was too slow. I literally just felt like it was too slow. Yeah, so, you know, things are a little quiet here at the moment. Their ball is quite big. I don't know if they're rallying anything. They're just, yeah, we're rallying some stuff in other locations. Okay, so there's fighting over here now. There's fighting over here. So we might end up having to go over here and do some stuff. You know, and we're burning them over here. So there's stuff happening in other places. But I'm just kind of chilling here at the ball, which is good, which is fine. I mean, I'm up to like 7.6 billion KP. So I think I've gotten about 1.1 billion KP in this KvK. I don't know exactly where I was at when it started. I think I have something like 1.1, maybe 1.2 billion KP. Which is not amazing. It's going to be a bit more than I did last KvK. It's a bit more than last KvK. But I honestly think my ratio... I don't know, it's going to be hard to say. I think I might have a negative ratio on trades. I know I've had like really good trades today and everything. Oh, I didn't look at the last reports. Yeah, so when we got overrun there at the end, you can see that I got some very negative trades on the Boudica and the Guan, both of which were run down. Now the Nevsky managed to hop into a city before it got destroyed. So the Nevsky did get a positive trade, but I just had so many situations in this KvK that were like this, where I took like really bad trades, that it's a little hard for me to believe that... It's a little hard for me to believe that... It's a little hard to believe that I traded positively. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm just hiding in a city here. Like, I just don't see the point of going in on this. I do not see the point. I'm just hiding in a city. There's just no reason to take this fight. Like, there's no reason for any of us to take this fight. Jonathan appears to be AFK, so Jonathan, it was nice knowing you. But I just don't think there's any reason to take this fight. So I'm just hiding in the cities. Earlier in the KvK, I would have stood out there and fought this, but I just don't think it. I don't think it's smart. I do not think it's smart. But we are burning them elsewhere, so, you know. Yeah, so here's Froppy rallying an LX flag here. Froppy has been an absolute beast this KvK. I don't even know exactly how many kill points he got, but he got an absolute massive number of KP. And has just been like an absolutely great player. That looks like it was a very small rally. It looks like there was like 4 people in that rally. So, I mean, we're having a bit of fun. Oh, El Caballero City is getting rallied. Here we go. Yeah, I definitely think that 1393 has a goal of like dropping power. Right? I just think they wanted to drop power, and they're getting their wish in this KvK. The Tariq Pakal rally against the Dido Hera garrison. You know, Dido Hera is a good garrison, but it's not OP. It's definitely not OP. And just the thing that Justinian Nevsky does best, honestly, is rally the Dido Hera garrison. I can actually show you a video from the other day where we double rallied a Dido Hera garrison. And that was like really, really good. Yeah, so here's a double. Here's a double that I did on a Dido Hera garrison. I think it was Uni who did the tanking rally, and then I did the secondary rally. And yeah, here we go. And you know, at the end of the day, when the Justinian Nevsky is left alone, it trades very good against everything, but it's the best against Dido Hera. Like this rally here, the Justinian Nevsky, is for sure the best rally against Dido Hera. And it tends to get some very good trades. Now in this situation, it's going to get an amazing trade because like the health of my rally is so high in this. I think I'm going to click on my my health numbers at some point, and you're going to see that I'm literally dropping like 1,000 troops per turn. Hopefully it shows that. Yeah, I'm going to click on it here. Look how slowly I lose troops. Like I'm literally losing like 1,000 to 2,000 troops per turn as this rally is hitting this flag. Like that's freaking amazing. Look at how slowly I'm losing troops. Like no one can even reign me because I'm still above 1.8 million from a 2 million starting point. So this was like a freaking great rally. I don't know if it justifies me building the Justinian because I only rallied with it like 5 times. But this was a freaking beast of a double rally right there. I think I have the report here. Hopefully I have the report. Maybe I saved it. I think I saved it in game, so I'll just show it there. Here it is. Here's the report from that rally, from that double rally. I did get 2 reigns. Rolfscliff put a very small march in, and then Catzilla garrison or reinforcement got in at the end. But there's the trade. There's the trade on the double rally from the Justinian Nevsky. Pretty beastly. Pretty beastly. Oh, I think here's another double rally we did of Justinian Nevsky. It was Froppy's Justinian Nevsky. Against the Dido Hera garrison. Not an amazing trade. This rally must have tanked. This must have tanked, and then it also didn't have like amazing reinforcements here. So I mean, Dido Hera is like a very, very good garrison for sure. You know, because I don't have it, I'm sort of like biased towards like Jan Hera. But it's entirely possible that Dido Hera is better than Jan Hera. I mean, that may be the case. Mr. Fox, good evening. Welcome to the stream. We are, you know, we are at the tail end of a fun little offensive that we did. I don't know if we burned this flag at all. I don't think we even burned it, but we got some good trades. And, you know, Moving is here wanting to fight. But the thing is, and I would love to fight him for content, but it would just be completely idiotic. Because number one, I have 3 marches. And number 2... he is an absolute beast. Oh, so here's the city rally on Froppy. It's kind of I'm kind of amazed at this trade. I'm kind of amazed that Tariq Pakal wins here against like 3.5 million troops in a city with a Dido Hera garrison. I mean, look, I guess Froppy's gear is not amazing here. I guess he doesn't have like great archer gear. So that's probably part of it. But he has like very good skills on the garrison. I'm kind of surprised that this trade looks like it does. Oh, Mr. Fox, oh, dude, I forgot to bet again. I am throwing this so hard, dude. Oh, can I still bet? Oh, I can still bet. Okay. So honestly, Mr. Fox, I'm gonna be honest. Mr. Fox. I actually think a bet on 93T here is correct. I actually think I hate to do this to you, Mr. Fox, but for anybody who's watching and has not bet yet, I have to say that at these odds, I think you have to bet on 93T. Now, you don't have to do much because it doesn't take much to buy out this shop. I mean, this will be nice to get, actually. Like, here's the reason you bet on 93T. As far as I know, this is a best of 3. Let me quickly just put my marches in a flag here while I'm not watching. So, I mean, it's a best of 3, so we're going to get at least 2 bets or 2 weeks to grind these coins. And so basically you can for sure get the 2 legendary materials like no matter what. But you can bet a little bit on 93T, and if it actually wins, then you're going to get a ton of these coins and you can buy this cosmetic. You can buy the Lady of War. along with all this other like pretty good stuff, speed ups, crystal keys, resources. So I think it just makes complete and utter sense to bet something modest. Just bet something modest on 93T here. Because I think at these odds, 93T is a very solid play. Like, actually a great play. Because the thing you have to remember about the grand finals is that they all have the same equipment. They have the same equipment. No, I wouldn't go all in on 93T. I would just bet a small amount like I just did. Because if it wins, you're going to win like 4,000 or 5,000 coins. You're probably going to win like 4,000 to 5,000 coins if this bet wins. And the thing is, they have the same equipment. They have the same equipment, the same number of troops. I don't know how the speed up situation works. I don't know if they have to use their own speed ups for this or what. But 93T is super organized. Like they play Arc very, very, very well. And they beat JST, who's a fantastic team. So honestly, Mr. Fox, I think I just spoke out of turn when I was like talking in Plato's chat about this bet. And Plato made a very good point about how everyone has the same equipment and the same commanders. And I think in that sort of context, on a blank slate, even battleground, I actually don't think that 960 is a favorite against 93T. Like, I don't think they're the favorite. I think if anything, 93T is probably the favorite, and maybe it's a 50-50. So I just think you have to bet. I think 93T is like one of the best bets of the entire season here at these odds. So, yeah. Sorry to bum you out, Mr. Fox, but yeah, Mr. Fox says but I think 60GT has a better plan, but 93T has a smart plan. Also has a smart plan with Arc. Yeah, I think they're both very good at Arc. But I would I don't know. I watched the 93T final matches, and I didn't really watch 60GT. But if I'm not wrong, didn't 60GT almost lose one of their matches in like near the finals? Like, I know they won, but I feel like they had a very close match against whatever kingdom they were facing. So yeah, okay, I'm glad Mr. Fox said something though, because I would have forgotten to bet. And this will be a nice thing to watch tomorrow, hopefully. I do need to finish Karwak still. I did not move up in the kill event, but I did not move down. Oh, I did move up. Oh, I'm in 10th now. I'm slightly ahead of Mate. So yeah, I mean, like, we didn't really do that much fighting in the last couple days. So this is like kind of a weird... I don't really get the top 10. I rarely get in the top 10 during kill event. Like kill events that are happening during war. This was like very interesting that I got that I'm in the top 10 right now, because I really did not fight that much, but I guess it was enough. All right, so they're gonna swarm this streak Pakal, I think, maybe. Oh, right on, Isaac. Yeah, I did notice, Isaac, that like you wanted to play another match, and I kind of quit. I quit a little bit early. We probably should have just played another match for fun. So yeah, definitely we will. Definitely we will play COO in the future. Do I ever do the double or nothing? In terms of betting, Mr. Fox, I don't do double or nothing very often. I mean, I'm a sports bettor and a poker player and stuff, and there's always like the kind of thing you can do where like you get like a bankroll, you kind of like create a separate bankroll, and then you use that bankroll like very, very aggressively. Where it's like, let's say you bet it, you bet it all on like a sports bet, and then if you win, you just double the bet again and try to like spin something up like really aggressively. I don't really do that very often, but, you know, maybe I should. It's, you know, it's fun anyway. It's fun to do, but it's like just financially irresponsible because just because you won your last bet doesn't mean the odds of your next bet are any better. I hate this fight. Like, honestly, we can like sort of take this fight, but like, I don't think it's, well, maybe. We might have like a huge numbers advantage here. Maybe this will work out okay. I have an empty hospital. I'm just going to go in here. Let me even. All right, I'm retreating the Boudica. See, the Boudica has trouble running away, but I sort of like stayed with the other marches that were hitting. Let me just come down here. I'm probably overplaying. I don't even know how to fight outside of dot mode anymore. That's the problem. I don't even know how to fight outside of dot mode, but I can definitely kill this. Let's see, where do I want to go? Come up here. Boudica's fanning out. I'm going to retreat the Boudica immediately. I think that's fine. Nobody else is hitting me. That's good. I'm definitely unloading here. Obviously, some of my teammates are getting wrecked. Okay, the Boudica needs to get into a city, like, immediately. Boudica got in a city. Alright. Everyone else is completely outnumbered. And that's how a selfish player fights. Just like I just did. But, you know, selfish can be good because, you know, you're doing damage. Like, you're doing freaking damage. I'm not saying selfish play is correct in most situations, because it just isn't. But at the very least, you are doing a bunch of damage, getting good trades, and wars can be won with good trades. There are easier ways to win, like fighting as a team, conquering objectives, and sort of demoralizing your enemy because you like push them out of zones. That's the easier way to win a war. But if you have a bunch of selfish players who like fight their own marches well, handle their own business and their own resources well, you can wear somebody out and get good trades. Here's the thing that happens. This is what happens, right? Is that I'm just gonna keep pressuring this dude because like he's way overstaying his welcome, and eventually people are gonna wake up and help me out. Oops. Yeah, this guy stayed a bit too long here. We need a Lu Chi. Like, we badly need a Lu Chi. At least we have a Huo. We have a Huo slowing, which is good. I can barely reach these marches. I don't think I'm really... So now he's standing and fighting. Let me switch to the Nevsky. Alright, so the Boudica's gonna hide here. Nevsky's going here. Guan is gonna run here. Guan will keep hitting. Alright, Guan's getting hit now. Guan's gonna run. Oh no. Oh no. Alright. All my marches are hiding in the city. Watching. Like, I'm gonna jump out and let's see how quickly they target my Guan. Let's just see. Not too quickly here. Mr. Fox, my favorite march. I would go with Nevsky Joan. I would have to say Nevsky Joan. It's just like giving me the most kills. It gets the best trades for me. It's fun to play. You know, it's fast, it's tanky, it does a ton of damage. What's not to like? What is not to like about the Nevsky Joan? But honorable mention to Jan Hera. I really like the Jan Hera garrison. And also honorable mention to Guan Scipio, because Guan Scipio has been really good too. Oh, nice! Shout out to Redline. Shout out to Redline. Big time raid. Welcome everybody. We are on day 16 of war here. And we're still going at it with 1393 and 2217 here on Siege of Orleans map. Welcome everybody. The big Redline raid. Love it. Redline, thank you so freaking much. Welcome everybody. Yep, Pharaoh, it's day 16 of war. We are pushed. This is the first zone we fought in, Champagne. We fought against Picardy here in Champagne. Very tough camp. Very, very tough camp. And we've set up this very good fort wall. We set up one of the great fort walls in the history of ROK. It's a combination of forts, and there's some cities that we're using to block. The fort wall has changed a little bit at this point, but they basically cannot get around. They cannot get around us without burning our forts. And obviously at times they have burnt these forts, and we've had to replace a few. So here's where the fighting's happening right now. I was chilling out, just fighting for fun. But here's where like the actual somewhat serious fight is happening. Straight, welcome to Officer Chat. Yeah, Redline, really appreciate it. Shout out to Redline for the raid. Hopefully things are going good with you, Redline. I mean, it looks like 960 is really kicking butt. It looks like the enemy is starting to like run out of ways to deal with you guys, and have been really enjoying the 960 war, watching it from both Redline's perspective and from Plato's perspective. I think that YouTubers chronicling wars is actually really important. You know, the 1093 365 war, obviously Jake the Dog did stream that, but he was on like a very big delay. And I just think that YouTubers who give like a context and tell the story, like tell the story in like a manageable format for people to follow, is super important. Because for me, those are the wars that I remember. I remember the wars where like a content creator did an amazing job of telling the story of that war, either through live streams or through videos, ideally a combination of both. And so I think that the 960 1v war is going to be one of those wars that everybody remembers, because there has been so much good content of it. There's been so many live streams. You can literally follow pretty much everything that's happening in it. And, you know, I tried to do the same on my channel. I don't live stream a ton during war, because at the end of the day, I am a leader, and I'm often just doing a ton of stuff that where a live stream would just totally distract me. It would totally freaking distract me from what's happening. But luckily today, this is a little bit casual, and we have other leaders on who are doing everything. And so I'm able to just chill out, talk to the chat, fight in the open field a little bit, show you guys some reports. Oh, Straight dropping the 5 gifted. Oh man, Straight, thank you so much. Thank you so freaking much, Straight. Congrats to Riddick, Sohail, a Chinese or a Korean player, HDT Nation, and IJ Sam. Some great gifted subs there for sure. I didn't show these last reports. These were the last few reports I did, where I was like, right when Redline raided me, I was like fighting very selfishly. I was jumping in and out of cities with my marches as my teammates were getting overrun. And we were actually talking we're talking about like selfish play versus selfless play. And, you know, I think, like, here's like a perfect example, right? It's like, are you supposed to help your teammates here? Are you supposed to like come out and help your teammates as they're getting overrun and take some bad trades yourself? Or do you just like run and hide, poke at the enemy, and live to fight another day? I think it's actually a pretty tough question, but it's one that we all face every day as we fight in this game. He-Man says, thank you for your streams, Brian. Love hearing your thoughts on everything are okay. He-Man, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. And thank you for all your comments about, you know, on a lot of my videos and stuff. The Pharaoh says, YouTube Wars does bring more audience, but keep it under BIOS. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand why, like, big kingdoms, like, restrict their content creators. I understand why big kingdoms, you know, either don't really, like, want to have content creators or they, like, put them on a very big delay. I do totally understand that. Because, you know, every kingdom has, like, different people in charge who have, like, different goals for this game, you know? The goals of a kingdom like 1093 or 365, like, the leaders of those kingdoms, their goals might be to, like, win KvKs and to be, like, the best kingdoms in the game. And so you know, I respect that completely. But I do think, like, those wars are going to be a little bit less remembered than the wars that have, you know, big-time content creators telling the stories. Because, those are just the wars that we remember, because I don't know, like, I don't think that many people are, like, sweating the map. Like, you know, I don't think that many people are, like, going to, like, the 960 KvK and, like, watching on their own for, like, many hours a day. Like, I'm sure people are checking in from time to time, but I don't know how many people are, like, just watching it on their own, right? Most of us are watching it through content creators. We're enjoying the content through content creators. And yeah, I don't even know how I got off on that rant, but let's see if we can somehow get a good trade against moving with, like, my with my Nevsky here. Can I get a good trade? Can I get a positive trade against moving here? Yeah, son, I just wanted to get a good trade because Redline raided me. So, like, I'm trying to get good content here, but it's, like, very hard to get good content against moving. But thank you for tanking for me so I could get a positive trade with my Nevsky Joan. All right, are you around here? Are you near the front? Yeah, I'm in a fake cap city right now, but I'll go back to Vaden City. The problem here is, like, the problem here is that the flag is full, so, like, we can't jump in the flag. I mean, maybe we can turn this. I don't even know. I mean, Essie's here. Yeah. But they're all coming. The problem is they're all, like, showing up. They're all coming. I'm definitely getting a positive trade against moving, though. I definitely unloaded on moving there. The Nevsky Joan. Yeah, so I mean, like, the situation... Here, let me mute the... I always forget to mute the voice chat while I'm talking to the stream. Lambo, thank you for the gifted. Shout out to Lambo. Shout out to Lambo, who won his Zone 7, or his Zone 5 in Heroic Anthem. When I woke up today, the first thing I did was check in on Lambo's stream. Lambo, did you eventually build that double C? Did you eventually build the double C build to the double C bastion in your KvK? Because I know your teammates they really needed to get that double C bastion skill, Lambo. So please build a fort soon. I don't think your priorities are correct. Not getting the double C. You need to get the bastion skill for 50% damage against barbs ASAP. That's very key in war. But yeah, Lambo, thank you for the gifted subs. Straight, thank you for the gifted subs. Redline, thank you for the raid. This is awesome. I genuinely really enjoy streaming during war, and it's just an unfortunate situation where it's just very hard to stream when you're a leader. I mean, I think Lambo goes through this exact thing, right? I think Lambo deals with the exact same thing in terms of, you know, it's just very hard for us to stream while we're fighting because we're doing so many other things. But gosh dang, it is so freaking fun to live stream a war, hang out in the open field, hang out in the chat, and talk about what's going on. And so I just have to figure out a way to do that. You know, I think I just think I need another... I need to be in another kingdom. I'm obviously always going to stay in 770, and 770 is going to be my priority. But I do need to, you know, play an account in another kingdom and be able to like do this war coverage properly, right? But you know, there's so many people here. I do want to give like a summary of this war so far, because I'm sure many of you are not aware of what is happening in this war. This is a siege of Orleans between a number of very big A kingdoms, right? And basically what has happened is that the first really big fight happened between our camp Bourbon and Picardy, which Picardy has two very strong kingdoms in it. Picardy consists of 1393, which is a, I believe they're a Taiwanese kingdom with 6 stars. And they have LX17, which is Kingdom 2217, which has 5 stars. Our camp has, I believe, 6 stars total. So it consists of 770. We have 4 stars. And then 2263 has 1 star. I think it's a Nile star. So basically the KvK started out with a very big fight here in Champagne. And the enemy was stronger than us in this war. But we put up this fort wall over 2 weeks ago, which they have not been able to get through, because it does require them to burn these forts down. Like they need to burn these forts down to get through this fort wall. And for them, for the enemy, because they won the zone, you know, they have all the entrances into Ile-de-France. They have the holy sites. And so, like, there wasn't, like, a great reason for them to destroy this fort wall. In retrospect, maybe they wish they did. I don't know. Because we're still able to fight them. We're still able to do damage to them. Trades-wise, in this KvK, the kill points are basically identical between us and 1393. The two camps have very similar kill points. They have like they have 5 billion more kill points than we have at this point, but that's very negligible. That's like maybe a 3% difference. The deads are also very, very similar between the two camps. But the enemy has taken Ile-de-France, whereas our allies have taken Touraine. We have our allies here in Maine, and then we have our allies here down in La Marche. And they conquered Touraine very convincingly, and the enemy conquered Ile-de-France very convincingly. Mr. Fox, no, we do not have a pass to KL. We're playing Siege of Orleans, and so in Siege of Orleans you have auxiliary skills. Hopefully this hopefully this Barb rally survives. It looks like it will. Yeah, you have auxiliary skills in this KvK. So right now we're at this point where you have 2 auxiliary skills on each commander, and later on you unlock a 3rd auxiliary skill. And so this like soups up commanders like majorly. It makes commanders way more powerful, and it makes swarming a very powerful meta, right? Like you can swarm down flags, you can swarm down forts. I mean, what's a good example of a fort being swarmed down? I don't know if I have a great example, because I haven't, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, like basically the enemy like swarms down forts. They literally will just like, a rally will hit a fort and then they will swarm it with 10 marches. And if we put reinforcements in the fort very quickly, we can get a positive trade. But they will just tend to keep, they'll do it even if it's a positive trade, because they want to burn down our forts. And I also think, from what they have said, from what some of the representatives from 1393 has said, they are literally trying to lose power. You know, they have a lot of very big players, and they've, you know, I think they've not had a tough KvK in a while. So they have a lot of excess power, and they are dumping it on us in this war. Lucia's the ally camp position is the same in my Siege of Orleans. Yeah, the camp position was not great for us. It does create like a good fight. Like this has been a very good war for sure, but it certainly put us Bourbon in a tough situation where like we had to fight super hard in Champagne because there was no reason. Like we took Nevers, right? Like we took Nevers uncontested because our enemies in Averny focused on Barry and fought like a, you know, they had a more winnable fight against La Marche. But the position put us in a tough spot because we have never been able to link up with our allies. Like at no point have we been able to fight with any of our allies. So I mean, we lost Champagne, but we still went into Ile-de-France. But Ile-de-France was a 1 versus 2 in the enemy's favor. We held out for a few days. We did damage to the enemy. You know, we forced them to rally our forts, rally our flags. We also launched a number of offensives during this like 48-hour period, where we sometimes went on the attack and got good trades that way. And that's kind of been our strategy. Our strategy has been to have this fort wall and then use this as a jumping off point to launch offensives and do damage to the enemy, hopefully getting positive trades, and just soften the enemy up for what is sure to be a very intense Orleans fight in this center zone. I think most people, including myself, are rating this as really like a 50-50 situation. It's going to be 3 kingdoms on our team against 4 kingdoms on the enemy team, 2 camps against 2 camps. The reason it's not 4 versus 4 is because down here in La Marche, there is Kingdom 1001, which, you know, Kingdom 1001 is pretty similar to Kingdom 1002, which is that like migration is open to the kingdom, and so like anybody can join the kingdom, and you know they just don't really fight very much. So it's going to be 3 kingdoms against 4, but we have softened up the 4 quite significantly. We haven't worn them down, but we have fought them for 16 days straight, and we have done a lot of damage to them. And hopefully we have softened them up enough to give our allies enough of an advantage to win Kingsland. And we will just keep fighting in Champagne, and hopefully we can connect with our allies at some point. Sorry, I'm catching up on stream a little bit here. Lambo says, my only issue is it gets tiring, getting asked the same questions or told you aren't fighting right, or do it like this instead, etc. You know, for me, so many things about leadership gets tiring. Like, I get tired by having to make decisions. I get tired by... Oh my gosh, did this guy just port home with my freaking Nevsky? Oh. Look at this dude. Alright, my Nevsky has a long walk back to this fight. I don't know, for me personally, there's a lot about leadership that's tiring for me, Lambo. Yeah, just like the hours of managing things, like constantly changing markers. You know, things going well for a while and then things turning bad, and so like you all of a sudden have to think in a totally different way. You have to think in you don't have to think about attacking anymore. You have to think about playing defense and minimizing the damage, slowing the enemy progress. So the yin and yang back and forth of leadership gets tiring. Having to like actually fight while also sort of like, you know, zooming out and like seeing what's happening everywhere. That gets tiring. But you know, what sustains you is the group of people that you play with. You know, we've had a great group of people that we have fought this war with. We've been kind of like losing the whole time, and so like it's very easy for morale to get low. And yet so many people have... Okay, so this flag's getting swarmed by... yeah, so... You know, it's stuff like that. That's what gets tiring for me. Is like, your captain's a leader, and she's trying to get a flag full. She set a marker on it. Then she's probably looking at something else, because she's doing a bunch of things at once. And this whale from 2217 just walks over and swarms the flag. You know? Because people didn't fill it up fast enough. So, I mean, it's just like the life of a leader is both very rewarding, but also very, very tiring. Iran says, now that's a wall making California jealous. It is one of the great walls in history. It is one of the great walls in history, because it has stood the test of time. You know, unlike some walls that have been recently constructed, and we don't know what will eventually happen with them, although they probably will stand the test of time too, this fort wall has stood the test of time. Many people have tried to attack it, but it has stood the test of time. And, you know, a lot of credit has to be given to the R5 of the Handsome Devils, Adinavo, who is really... he's had a great war. I honestly think he's had one of the great performances of any leader, like, in the history of the game in this war. He had a great strategy for this zone, right? Basically what happened is that this zone opened on, like, September 29th, which is, like, right in the middle of Korean Thanksgiving, which is, like, the biggest holiday in Korea. And so a few days before the passes opened, our Korean allies told us that they would not really be fighting very much for the first 5 days of this zone. And at that point, we really had no chance of winning this zone. Like, if our Korean allies are not going to fight hard in this zone when it opens, then we just have no chance of, like, actually winning the zone. And so right from the start, our strategy was to set up this fort wall, rather quickly fall back to this fort wall, and just get what we could out of the fighting. Like, obviously people want to fight, it's a war game, and there's no reason for us to wait for Zone 6. And so we had to... So we did this best strategy we had, which was build this fort wall and fight from here. We launched various offensives. We did a fort drop over here in this, or a mountain hop over here, and set up like a bunch of forts over here and fought for like 24 hours in this area before it was collapsed. And we've just been trying to get good trades and do what we can against this enemy. And Addy has organized a number of offensives at various times, including the offensive we did this morning, where we drained the enemy even more here at this flag. And so he has just continued to make super good decisions throughout this war. Whereas for me personally, I'm like running out of energy, and I'm losing like a little bit of confidence in my ability to like make good decisions. And so like my energy has kind of like worn down, truth be told. But Addy has just like kept going at it. I think he stayed up for 38 hours straight when Zone 6 opened. Like, he fought for a long time, and then he like went to work, and then he came back and fought more. And he was literally up for 38 hours straight. I actually stayed up for 24 hours straight. I actually fought for like, and led and coordinated for 24 hours straight when Ile-de-France opened. And I made a bunch of bad decisions during it, and I also made a lot of good decisions. And that's what happens, you know? That's what happens when you're setting like, you know, 200 different markers over the course of a day, is that some of the markers go well and some of the markers go badly. Lelouch says, did red camp beat yellow camp? No. Red camp lost to yellow camp in Barry, but I think they somewhat made, and I believe it was like a very intense fight here. The reports from some of the players from Avern were on my stream last night, and they were saying that LaMarche did like drain themselves quite a bit in this zone, and the stats do reflect that. But red camp made a tactical retreat from this zone, or I don't know if this is red camp. I'm calling this red camp. I'm calling LaMarche red camp. Red camp made a tactical retreat from Barry, and then won the 2v the one terrain, right? We outnumbered our allies in terrain, and we won this zone very convincingly. So I do think red camp, which is 23-13, has played this well, and they do have some very, very big whales. I think this guy Boom Boom 3 is maybe like the king of 23-13. I'm not entirely sure if he's the king. I've seen him have the king title at times, but I mean, this is like a big player right here. You know, who is capable of doing quite a bit with his power. Lucia's 3 versus 2 KO in Orleans is really tough. Good luck, bro. It's a 2v2. It's a 2v2, Lelouch. Because we locked out this camp here, Brittany. Right? Brittany is locked out from the enemy side. Like, our allies took over Normandy, and they have all the passes in terrain. So it's going to be 2 camps against 2 camps in Orleans, and then we're going to still be here in Champagne, and you know, I think they're going to leave us alone. Like, I think we are inevitably going to take some territory once Kingsland starts, because I don't think they're going to allocate any resources fighting us when they have the more important fight in Orleans. So we're still out here, and you know, depending on how long the fight goes, we may be able to link up with our allies. You know, depending on how long the fight goes, these level 7 passes will eventually open up, and our allies will be able to break into Ile-de-France. We'll be coming from the left side, or from the right side, from our fort wall here. And you know, we'll see what happens. You know, this is literally what I'm essentially describing, or what the situation. Sorry, I'm trying to find where the fight was. I guess it's right here. Yeah. Okay, so we are burning them here, which is like a really nice burn. I didn't see this happen, but that's a really, really good burn right there. You know, but what has happened in this war is that we are on day 16, and the scenario I am describing means that this war is going to last a lot longer. It's going to last a lot freaking longer. And the funny thing is, on like day 2 of this war, I said something like, this war is probably going to last for 30 days. Like, we could already see like how it was going to play out, and it's playing out exactly like that, where it's at this point, it is a long, slow grind where both teams are a little bit weakened and not wanting to, you know, use all their resources in one fell swoop. I think the only camp, or the only kingdom that's really like seems to be very comfortable continuing to fight like endlessly is 1393. Like 1393, they just keep fighting, and they have a ton of resources, like an absolute ton of resources. Oh wait, this is the different alliance, but yeah, I mean, LN93 has just a ton of resources, a lot of whales, and they seem pretty comfortable, like just endlessly fighting. But they do have significant downtime. They do have very significant downtime. And to be fair, they lost this zone of terrain very quickly. Like 1393 went into this zone. They fought for about a day. Then our allies' fort dropped over here, and that pretty much ended the zone. So, you know, they're not like at full strength either. They are by no means at full strength. LN93 has taken the most deads of any kingdom so far. And honestly, this war still has a long way to go. Like, this is going to be one of the longest wars that any of us ever fight. Especially in kingdoms of our size. We are not Imperium kingdoms. We are A kingdoms. You know, we are A kingdoms. Yeah, McMed says Pass 7 opens after KL. Yep. I think it's like a few days after KL, right? It's not too far after KL. Actually, I guess we can check. I guess we can check. So KL's going to open here. KL's going to open here. And then... yeah, it's only a few days later that the level 7 passes open. You know, it might be like 3 days, it might be 4 days, but it's not that long. It's really not that long. And not to say that the level 7 passes will necessarily change anything, but I mean, it is worth noting that in a very recent Siege of Orleans that 2489 was in, 2489 literally won the center zone, but then the enemy team's allies were able to sort of link up over here in Ile-de-France, and they essentially surrounded the Orleans and eventually knocked 2489 out because they friggin' had them surrounded. So, I mean, there just is like some different wrinkles to this map, and I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. I genuinely do not know what's going to happen in Orleans. I don't know how long the war here is going to last. It could potentially be a very long war in Orleans, like multiple days, or one side could just prove to be dominant. Because open field is extremely important in this KvK, and there are a lot of very open field focused kingdoms heading into Orleans. Our opponents in 2217 and 1393 are very, very open field focused. They basically accomplish all their goals by dominating the open field. But our allies in 1903, they are also a very, very strong open field kingdom. And I think our other allies in 2313 and 1020, I assume, are also, you know, very capable open field fighters. So it could be true that one side is just like dominant in the open field, and like that's just, or that becomes obvious, and the other side gives up quickly. But it could also be possible that it is a long, long grind in this zone. Both teams fight very hard, and because they're a bit depleted, progress is a bit slower. And at that point, maybe we are able to get back in the fight to some extent. Who knows? So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Have you gone over what are good auxiliary skills in Orleans? Well, I can cover a few things here. For garrisons, I would say that Richard and Saladin are going to be really good. Richard's second skill is very, very good. 10% increased counterattack damage and taking 15% less damage. Saladin's skill takes 30% reduced skill damage and 20% reduced counterattack damage. I think for garrisons, Richard Saladin is just super, super solid. You know, in the open field, my stuff's a little bit complicated because I put slightly... In an ideal world, I would have like the Khan skill and the Alex skill on my Nevsky, because the Khan skill is like really good for the open field. It does 30% increased damage as long as you have more than 70% units remaining, which, you know, that is most of the time in the open field, right? Most of the time you're fighting with over 70% of your units left. And so you're getting a huge damage boost from Khan. That's a great skill right there. I have it on my Justinian instead because I do rally with the Justinian, and so I want to have two very good skills on the Justinian. But like the Alex skill is amazing. The Alex skill can get used on like any march, but I just use it on the Nevsky since it's like my best open field march. For Alex's second skill, it's while on the map, troops led by this commander are immune to all damage reduction debuffs, and their normal attacks have a 10% chance to deal additional damage to the target, 1700, and reduce its healing effects. So like, there's a lot of damage reduction debuffs in this game, and so making Nevsky immune to that is absolutely fantastic. And then this is like a very nice chance for a very big nuke as well. But then you kind of want to customize commanders differently. I mean, with infantry, it's also pretty clear for the most part, where like Charles's second skill is super good, 20% defense, 20% health, and 20% march speed. The other option is going to be Constantine, which I don't exactly know where my Constantine skill is right now. Who did I put it on? Maybe the Xeno? Yeah, so Constantine's second skill is also very good, 40% increased health. But the Charles Martel skill is simply better. And then like the Sun Tzu skill is also very good. The real decisions you have are around the Archer March, actually. With the Archer March, you have like a little bit of a choice here on the second skill. I chose to go with Edward's second skill, which gives 25% health and 25% march speed. The other thing you can do, and what most people do, is they go with Thutmose' second skill, which gives 15% attack, 10% march speed, and 15% increased damage outside of Alliance territory. I mean, quite frankly, today I should have switched. I should have switched to the Thutmose because we were fighting in such a like cramped quarters fight that the extra march speed from the Edward is like not that important. But in general, I just like my Boudica to move faster because, you know, she's slow and vulnerable, and she just tends to get caught out the most of all my marches. And so at this point, I have made her as fast as my Guan. And, you know, so that's my thinking around the auxiliary skills. And it looks like we have a bit more of a fight here, so let me get out here and help out here. Iceman, welcome to the stream. Congrats on the gifted subs. Yeah, a lot of great gifted subs passed out today. Shout out to Lambo and Straight for that wonderful support. If you're enjoying this content, it's your first time watching me. I do live stream at least once a week on Friday evenings. I try to make 1 or 2 videos a week. I've been not doing that lately just because this war has been so freaking intense. But once the war is over, I will be doing plenty of doing plenty of video editing and telling the stories of some of the wars that we've been in the past, right? I still have we fought 1818 in Siege of Orleans a few months ago, and I still have to like tell the end of that story. Okay, so Bogus is getting hit here, and I can be a bit of a roach and kill these marches on their way home. Let me get a skill cycle off on this Nevsky here. All right. Hey Neil, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Kick you, welcome to the stream. Thanks again to Redline for the raid. We have 23 minutes left of fighting, and then there actually is going to be a ceasefire. Every camp in this KvK agreed to a ceasefire. We are doing it out of respect to players in this players on this map who are suffering in real life from wars that are happening in the real world, you know, as things play out here in this digital realm. So in 23 minutes, there is going to be a ceasefire for 2 hours. And I think it's very nice thing to do, and a good way for me to just like to acknowledge that reality, right? Because I think it's very good to have escapes, and I escape all the time from real life via Rise of Kingdoms. I really like living in this alternate world, and you know, at the end, you know, like I kind of like to keep it limited to that. Even though it's very obvious that there are other things happening in the world, I like to keep it obvious. I like to keep things limited to this game for the most part, because I just know that that's what people are here for, right? If you want to get news about other things, you seek out other content creators. But because this is a war game, you know, this is like arguably the most involved war game ever, right? I mean, EVE Online is maybe more involved, but this is right up there as one of the, without a doubt, this is one of the 2 most involved war games that, to some extent, I think reflect the ups and downs and the stress of real wars. It's obviously totally different, but I think this is the closest many of us will ever get to war, and I think we're very lucky that that's the case. So, you know, it's nice to just sort of acknowledge that we're playing at something that is also happening in the real world with real consequences. And that's just sort of like a surreal thing to be a part of, you know? It's just sort of surreal, right? It's kind of like, it's weird to be talking about war all the time, you know? But, you know, it is like a really good game. This is like a really, really good game, so I think it's good that we kind of are able to experience these things. Am I still in 10th here? No, Mate has passed me. Oh, Mate went ham, so Mate's like way up in power, or way up in kills. I'm just gonna go for top 15 in the Mightiest Governor. I think it's pretty guaranteed that I'm gonna get top 15. And then I just need to remember to, yeah, I'm gonna get the 10 Henry heads, and I will finally unlock Henry. And that means that basically I will have everybody unlocked except for Hannibal still, and Dido. Actually, maybe I should unlock Dido. Should I unlock Dido or should I unlock Henry? I guess I'd prefer to have Henry, because like he's decent in the open field, and there's like no way I'm ever building like an archer garrison. So yeah, I'll unlock Henry. Long-awaited unlock. Get the 10 gold heads. Ahmed asks, how long have you been playing this game? And he also says it used to be way more fun though. Yeah, Ahmed, I have been playing this game for a very long time. I started in Kingdom 131. Actually, you know, Redline, who raided me, he's one of the few people who has played this game longer than me and is still playing. I remember the first time I ever hung out on Redline's stream when he was on Twitch, he was talking about this guy named Good Manpower, and I had played with Good Manpower in my start Kingdom. So yeah, I've been playing since oh, these European dates always confuse me. So this is October 11th, 2018. So yeah, I've been playing for just over 5 years now. And yeah, so I'm like a very, very old player. And then Hamid made an interesting comment that it used to be way more fun though. That's an interesting comment, Hamid. I don't know if I agree or disagree. It's It's kind of close, actually. I think that, you know, what has happened is that the quality of life of this game has gotten better. Like, even just in recent times, the quality of life has gotten better. Where, you know, we can fight in dot mode now. Like, dot mode is a better way to fight in this game. We have, like, multi-queue. The multi-dispatch is super convenient compared to pulling your marches out of the city one at a time. The battle reports are way better now. Like, the battle summaries are so freaking amazing that it's, like, kind of funny that we used to just, like, scroll through reports, right? Like, there would be, like, a garrison. We would have this, like, long garrison defense, right? You know, I would be, you know, defending some garrison flag, and people would, like, swarm it, and there'd be, like, AoE damage and stuff. And I would just, like, scroll. I would just scroll. You know, I would, you know, this Danky rally earlier, right? Tons of people took AoE, tons of people swarmed it. And the only way you could figure out if you got a good trade was to, like, literally scroll through the entire freaking report. You know? And, like, we would have these reports, we'd have these fights, people on voice would be talking about, like, something else, the next thing that's happening. And I would just be sitting here, going through these reports, trying to figure out if we got, like, a positive trade or not, right? And now you just hit the summary and you see exactly what happened. So I think the quality of life of the game has gotten better. I think the balance of the commanders remains good, and it has gotten a little bit more interesting because there are more commanders. But on the other hand, I think that whales are I think whales have as big of an advantage in the game today as they have ever had. I think that people who spend a lot of money on this game are, you know, they're getting a lot of value for their money. You know, they're genuinely getting a lot of value because they're able to like win these very intense wars that people take very seriously, right? Like, there's so many people and so many teams in this game who, like, genuinely, like, are trying super freaking hard to win. Like I said, Addy stayed up for 38 hours straight after this war had already been going on for 10 plus days. I am a 47-year-old man, and I stayed up for 24 hours straight because we needed someone to coordinate and lead stuff. And it's like, that's not easy for me to do. Believe me, that is not easy for me to do. And it actually affected my work a little bit. And it's like, but whales, they get to beat our ass. They get to beat our freaking ass and, like, win these very meaningful, like, you know, they get to win these very meaningful digital wars that we're in. Whereas, like, people who spend less, they tend to lose these meaningful wars that we all take so seriously. Or these meaningful experiences that we take so seriously. And so, like, between whales having unlimited resources, between armaments, between Crystal-Tech getting a little bit more difficult to do, between the new equipment system that's coming, I think that whales are really getting, like, a lot of value for their money. And I can see why that makes the game maybe a bit less fun for everybody else, honestly. Okay, I need to run with the Boudica. Okay, I'm, like, not thinking too great here, but that's alright. Yeah, this fight, this fight is just not good for us, I don't think. I'll keep poking at him, but I'm gonna run again. I mean, if I'm not getting targeted, that's cool, but I'm sure I'm getting targeted soon. I'm running the Boudica away. And I'm still hitting the other guy, so that's cool. Maybe the Guan's getting hit? No, the Nevsky's getting hit. And now the Guan's getting hit. Guan's gonna jump in the city, hopefully. The Boudica's still unloading. Okay. All right, Boudica's walking away. Juan's walking away. It's time to refresh. P-Man says the game has gotten much better. Lilith is still investing heavily in development and improvement. Yeah, P-Man, that's very true. And I'm saying these things about Wales, but the thing that's very good about like Wales getting... Oh man, did I crash? Did I just crash while I'm live streaming? My game like literally never crashes, but I guess it just did. It's kind of weird. Let me reload here real quick. Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing, right? Is that it's in many ways it's a good thing that whales have a huge advantage and that whales are getting like good value for their money, because what that means is that Lilith is making a lot of money and they have like a very resilient business model that in which people are going to keep spending. Oh, Rexian, very good comment about Henry. Yeah, so like they have a resilient business model and people are going to keep spending. Like it's worth it for whales to spend money on this game. Like they're getting very good value. And so it's just like it's a great business that Lilith is obviously going to keep supporting. And we're seeing that in action. We really are. Like the battle reports are great, the multi-queue is great. There's now word that they are going to upgrade the graphics of the game, which I'm like really excited to see. You know, because we spend so much time in this world that having like better graphics is going to be awesome. Like especially in the home kingdom, right? Just like chilling out with you know, like I go around in the home kingdom and I do like barb camps all the time. I do barb keeps. You know, I'll zoom out on the map and just kind of like see like what people are doing. You know, who's doing forts, like who's walking where, who's sending gatherers out. I'll just kind of like look around. You know, I'll be working on my computer and I'll just like tab over to this game and just like see what's happening in our home kingdom. Because like to some extent I live here, right? And so like new graphics are going to be fantastic for this game. And they're doing all those things because they're just making a lot of money. Bandar says, I just realized we are in the same KvK map. But Hamid says, maybe I just miss my old game mates who quit the game. That is why I don't enjoy it. That's a very good point, Hamed. That's a very, very good point. Like, part of why I'm enjoying this game is because I'm still playing with a lot of the people who I've played this game with for years. And then we've also had, like, groups come in who are, like, really great people. I think a lot of the people who are talking on voice right now are from 1252. And they're, like, you know, they're, like, just a great group of people who have, like, become a key part of our group and have become good friends. And so that's definitely like a big part of the game for me. I think personally I would, if like our group disappeared tomorrow and I was like on my own, I actually think I would still play this game. I would just go to a different kingdom. I would not be a leader. I would do what I'm doing right now, which is just like chill in the open field and interact with the stream. And like my stream community would kind of become like my main thing. But I mean, it is true that a lot of the people who quit this game, they're quitting because like all their friends stop playing. And that's like totally reasonable. Like that's very reasonable. But I do think they've built a good enough game that people are going to keep playing it. I just don't want to like lose. I don't want to just lose KvKs before they start because the enemy is just like so much stronger on paper. Like they have so much better equipment. They have way more resources, way more speed ups, and maybe, and they also have pilots, right? You have to factor in the pilots in this game, which like our kingdom does not have a lot of pilots because we don't spend enough to where we have like unlimited resources and tons of speed ups to justify having a pilot. Like there's no reason for me to have a pilot on my account because I run through all my resources and speed ups as is. Like, why would I let a pilot run through all my resources when I want to have the fun myself, right? And for our kingdom, most people are in that position. Like, they run out of resources just playing their own account. Having a pilot would be, like, largely superfluous because you just have someone else playing when you could be playing, you know, you could just do it yourself. But when you spend a ton of money in this game and you get a lot of resources and a lot of speed ups, you have that extra, you have the extra resources and speed ups for a pilot to also control your account. And I just don't think we want to get into a situation in this game where literally KvKs are decided based on how well you are prepared coming into it. I think we have to have KvKs where like the team that plays better, the team that fights harder, is the team that wins. And I think we're getting a little bit away from that at this moment. But maybe I'm just complaining about something that is not that big of an issue. Like maybe it's okay that like, I mean, at the end of the day, like everyone's working pretty hard. Everyone's working hard and everyone's playing pretty smart. So, you know, maybe the right teams are winning all these wars. I really don't know. But it's something that we have to think about. Rexian says, does seem like the game is receiving minimum support though. Sure, quality of life updates. However, how long did it take for them to come in? Years. So them taking action speaks to trying to retain players. Which is good, of course, just got to be aware of the shift and question why, and it's to monetize the existing players. Yeah, I think we just have to constantly be aware of what's happening and just have conversations about it, right? I just think we have to have conversations about it. That's not to say that it's going to change what Lilith does, but we can, you know, we can have you know, we can at least like address the issues ourselves. So we like, I don't know, for me, I just like to talk honestly about things as I see them, and then I can hear what other people have to say, and I can just at least get like a sense of reality. Like, I just want to play with in reality as it actually is, you know? So like, I just talk about things openly and try to say the good and the bad things about it. Because like, I do really like this game. Like, I honestly really like it. Which is a crazy thing to say on day 16 of a war where I'm like completely freaking worn out. Like, I am completely worn out. I have like a ton of work to do this weekend to try to catch up. But it's like, it's just been like this experience that I know I'm going to look back on fondly, right? Eventually we'll be back in the home kingdom doing 1+1 forts. And I'll just like think back, oh man, remember when it was so intense? And it just makes me enjoy the quiet times in this game like way more, honestly. Like going through this like super intense experience with my teammates where like we've literally been on the back foot from the very beginning, but we just kept fighting anyway. That just like draws us closer. And so then like when we're playing like an Ark of Osiris match on Sunday afternoons in the off season, you know, it's just gonna like make me enjoy those matches so much more, because I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy how chill it is. I'm gonna enjoy how completely freaking chill it is. Let me try to get into Uni's rally here. I want to see one of these reports. Looks like somebody's getting in or something, because I can't join it. This is actually one of the easiest reinforcements ever. You just keep like dragging the line over and over again. A Gypsy says go to pass 42313. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Not that one. Maybe this one? Oh! Yeah, so this is the, this is sort of the beginning of the ceasefire. And, it's just a show of solidarity for some of the people who are affected by the war that's happening. You know, taking no position one way or the other on it, other than, I think, just to say that, a lot of people are hurting, right? And it would be better to have peace than to have the wars that we currently have. So this is these are enemies, right? Like Meh is an enemy of 1KNE. Nam and Squirt are enemies of 313K. So actually enemies are coexisting here in this area. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Oh, my Boudica got wrecked. As I'm watching that. Gypsy Danger with the psyops. Okay, so we're 2 minutes away from peace, but Uni City is getting swarmed. I'm gonna just sit safely here in Addy City. I'm hiding, because my Boudica got wrecked. I wasn't even paying attention. So Uni is getting... I hope Uni... I mean, Uni knows, because Uni's online. So I guess he's just taking it right now. And he's out of there. He's out of there. Okay, so the ceasefire has been announced here. There might be another minute to go. My Boudica got wrecked. As I was admiring the very nice tribute down south, my Boudica was getting wrecked. But let's see what happens up here as this as the clock ticks to 20 UTC, which is the official time of the ceasefire. Where's my Nevsky here? Can I get one more hit out? I'm not gonna risk it. I still have my Guan over here in this city, in Addy City. Alright, so it's 20 UTC now. I just wanted to see what would happen if I walked my Guan away. I'll throw a very positive emoji to our enemies here. It's totally understandable that some people don't know. That's totally understandable. Let's look at Uni's city rally there. He's getting swarmed like very hard. Oh, he actually did very good there. He took that very well. He took that very, very well. So yeah, the last bit of fighting here, right before a 2-hour ceasefire. Shaki, the KvK is going well. Nobody has won yet. It feels like a 50-50 to me. It really feels like it's 50-50. We are not going to make it into Kingsland, but our allies took terrain. The enemy took Ile-de-France. So the KvK is going, you know, it's going. It's been a great war, and you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Rafi says a ceasefire. Haven't experienced it for a long time. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, I agree that this was a very cool thing to. I'm glad I was streaming. I'm glad I was streaming this, actually. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And there was also some, like, pretty insane action right at the end, right? let me just be able to say what exactly Nadeen's role here is, because I think I read about it earlier. Let me take a look what it said. This was organized by 2902, which I think is Nadeen's, I think that's Nadeen's kingdom. Yeah, Nadeen is in the Gaza Strip, and so that's why it's sort of the ceasefire is sort of focused on Nadeen. It's because they are actually in the Gaza Strip right now, which is a very scary place to be. So, yeah, we do have 2 hours of chilling here in this KvK, which I think everyone is good with a little chill time, actually. I should probably just teleport back to the start zone, because I could do a little barb chaining later. I don't know. I'll stay here for now. Shaki says, you know the 1235 KvK? I do not know the 1235 KvK. Are they in one? Oh, this is the one. Is this one that you're in, Shaki? Okay, so this is Orleans. I didn't realize. Oh wait, this is ours. Never mind. Oh yeah, this is the one that. This is the one that Shaki you showed me. Yeah. This one does look interesting. This looks like an interesting KvK. Actually, I think Shaki showed me the. He showed me like the stats. So let me see if I can find that. It was a while ago, but I'm sure I still have it. There he is. Yeah, so here's the KvK that 1235 is in. Again, these are some A kingdoms, right? Like 770, the kingdom I'm in, we're an A kingdom. We fight against other A kingdoms. Our tier does not get the same attention as the Imperium kingdoms. The Imperium kingdoms get like most of the community focus, but there's a lot of interesting things happening at the like A level of KvKs, you know, and we're in a very interesting one ourselves. But here's another one here where 1235 is going to be the top left camp. The middle camps are. I'm not too familiar with too many of these kingdoms. Obviously, I know 1916. That's Drago and Skywalker's old kingdom. I think 2359 is probably a pretty like strong A kingdom that has not necessarily been like fully tested. I know they won their last KvK where when Shaki was showing me the matchups, I thought they were the favorites. And then I think they had a very good war in Strife of the Eight. And I think 2359's team won. But I think now going up against 1235 is going to be like a very, very interesting test for Shaki's kingdom here. And they have the exact same layout that we have. This is the exact same layout of allies that our map is. And that will generally make for some very good fighting. 2359 will have to decide, like, are they going to go both ways? Are they going to try to lock both of these zones? That's probably going to be very hard. It looks like 2707 also has some very good stats here. Yeah, this looks like a really good one, Shaki. I know I missed your, I know I didn't cover the pass openings on your last KvK because, like, we were fighting. But it looks like the timing of this is probably going to be a bit better for me. And yeah, definitely keep me updated about this one because I do actually want to watch this. I want to see like what you guys do coming into this first zone here and how those fights go, because it looks like 2707 has some like very good stats as well. So yeah, these are some like A kingdoms that look pretty strong, but I'm not super familiar with. Obviously, people are familiar with 1235, and 1235 is like basically they did very well in their last KvK. So Yeah, that's going to be another really good A Kingdom, KvK. Iran Barbie says, funny how gamers can respect each other more than governments can respect us. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, honestly, there's been like the LKC for this KvK was not like super friendly. There was definitely a lot of trash talking. And I think that over time, the trash talking is kind of like cooled off. And, you know, I don't think I played like a big role in it, but I mean, I did say like on my live stream a couple weeks ago that like, I don't know, I sort of took the high ground, but I still talk a lot of trash myself. I still get negative about my opponents sometimes. I still make excuses for like why we're losing sometimes. So I mean, I think we can all do better. You know, I think we can all do better. And, you know, Iran's saying it's funny how we can respect each other more than governments can respect us. But, you know, in many countries, it's the people who elect the governments. And so I just think if we're going to make the world a better place, I think it starts with the people. And I think it starts with us, you know, electing better leaders. Electing leaders who represent our interests more than they do today. I think that's the case in the United States, at least. You know, we just have a very we have a flawed system where like money is like super important in politics, and that like affects like the people who get elected heavily. And it's like hard for like unknown people who have good ideas and who would represent the people. It's very hard for those people to like ever even get close to winning an election. But ultimately, that still comes down to us as people. Like we have to like, you know, we have to, you know, put people in government who actually reflect our own interests. And I think there are many people in the world who think there should be fewer wars, and that you know, we should have elected officials who are sort of like less into spending on the military and engaging in wars. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the reality of what the world is, which the world is a very dangerous place. And so you on some sense, you actually do have to have a strong military and be ready for whatever happens. So, you know, it's complicated. It's all very complicated, but what I do is I try to just look at my own behavior, right? And the thing about a war like this, the thing about a long war like this, is that you actually get a very good, it puts a mirror on who you are as a person, and it puts a mirror on your behavior. And there are some things that I like about myself, and there are also some things that that, you know, I could be much better about. I could you know, I just should have better vibes. Like I should have better vibes in voice sometimes. I get a little too mad, I get a little too pessimistic. I could always do better at like forming stronger relationships with people. I think on some level, I've sort of like lost some people, like as a leader, I've like lost people a little bit, where like they don't listen to me as much as they have in the past. And so like, you know, I can improve things about my, and like, you know, when, and I don't know that I need to be critical of my opponents in the ways that I'm critical of them. I mean, like, yeah, they have unlimited resources, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's frustrating, but I don't know that I have to point those things out. Maybe I should just be like a very gracious person who just is like, well, that's just how it is. And, you know, stay positive in that way. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I want to be realistic and sometimes I want to be positive. Like, they're two different things. You can be a mix of both. But I think we all need to like just look at ourselves and like be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And then you just sort of like, then you make the people around you better, right? Like, that's what's rewarding about being a leader in this game, right? Is that sometimes I make good decisions and I set up situations where we can be successful. And then I see people like staying online for a long time. They stay in voice chat for a long time. The vibes are good in voice chat. People are having fun. They're, you know, experiencing the best parts of this game, and they're like winning and having success. And, you know, that's me putting effort into something and being like a very good version of myself. And then then that in turn is making the experience of the people around me better. Like, they're having more fun because I'm doing good, smart, hardworking stuff. And, you know, not everyone does that in ROK. People do that in all different aspects of their life. You know, people who have families, they're not going to like spend all their time making the ROK experience better for people. They're going to spend their time making their families' lives better. But, you know, we all have the ability to be the best versions of ourselves, and then, you know, make things around us better as well. And so I just tend to try to focus on that. Like, the other stuff is interesting to follow, but I try not to put like too much emotions into it, because like I can't control that, but I can control everything about myself. So it's like every day I like try to like work hard, be focused while I work. I try to, you know, I mean, I need to exercise more. I need to get healthier because that makes my mind work better. And, you know, the day is short. And so, like, you have enough stuff that you have to do just in your own life that it's almost not worth wasting mental bandwidth on, like, other stuff. Aaron says, yeah, preach. That's a sound mindset. Yeah, I mean, I fail at it sometimes, but I do try sometimes. Rexian says, to be fair, Brian, I never listened to you. Rexian, you listen sometimes. I mean, you know, we had some good open field moments. We had some very good moments of open field coordination where you and I did some very cool stuff because we both have such good control of our marches. And Rexian, I do owe you. I do need to send you a DM, Rexian. I was actually driving around Vegas the other day, and I thought to myself, I need to DM Rexian. We have not talked in a while. I need to see if he's still playing. See what his thoughts are on the game, and of course, always with the secret agenda of trying to get you back in 770, of course. But yeah, Rexian, we're definitely overdue for a conversation, my man. Yeah, Carlson says, bro, you are still a gamer. Trash talk is normal. Yeah. It's like, I'm not trying to be like too like. It's just like in certain moments I do sort of am like, oh, you know, we could all just be like really good to each other. But like, I know that's not like realistic, and like it's not even like the most fun for a lot of people. Like, I know like it's fun to trash talk, right? It really is. And like I follow this like you know, I'm a poker player from way back, and so I follow this guy DJAF, who's a longtime poker pro. He has a podcast, but he also is like a commentator for the show Hustler Casino Live, right? And he basically, when people are like trolls in the Hustler Casino YouTube chat, he basically thinks that like all of them are like miserable. He's like, anyone who's trolling is like a miserable person. And when I listen to him say that, I'm like, dude, I troll sometimes. Like, it's fun to be a troll. Like, there's like humor in being a troll. Like, that's just part of like what is fun about the internet. It doesn't mean that we're all like unhappy people, right? It just means that like we enjoy trolling sometimes. So it's, you know, it's the truth of everything is like always somewhere in the middle, right? Charlie is still in 07. Oh, 2707, the Rogue Charlie. Why do I not know about 2707? What is 2707 the kingdom that let me look up 2707 real quick in some wait, is 2707... Oh, that changes everything about this map. Dude, that changes everything about this map. Okay, so 2707 is the kingdom where, like, they supposedly like screwed their allies out of a star, and then their allies like infiltrated the leadership team, took over the kingdom, and like opened it up. Like they opened up 2707, and probably I also assume they dumped all the Alliance Gold credits. So yeah, maybe 2707 is like nowhere near as strong as this as this KP indicates. It's hard to say, right? It's hard to let me look and see if 2707 is still like completely open. It might be. Where am I seeing it? Oh no, there's a cap. There's a cap on it now. Rexian says, as for 770, not saying no, but main is in KvK. Yeah, where's your alt, Rexian? Where's your alt these days? Yeah, so I think this kingdom... Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened with this kingdom. Wait. Because these guys had like a ton of stars too. Like the thing about this kingdom was they had like a bunch of stars. I'm not sure which alliance had the stars. I don't see any like dead alliances here. Dead flags or anything. Alt is in 2956, that's cool. Oh, Banks says, I thought 07 was the home of the guy leading the revolution. His YouTube videos are interesting. Oh, is it that dude? I saw one of those guys' videos. That was an interesting video. I almost wanted to like comment about it. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of somebody different. Oh, no, this is the guy. Yeah, Team Charlie. Let's see what kingdom he was in when he did his rogue thing. No, he was in 2797. Charlie was in 2797. 2707. I'm pretty sure 2707 is the kingdom where... Yeah, 2707 is the kingdom where, like, someone infiltrated the leadership team, got king, and then opened up the kingdom. All right, so I am going to... I think I'm going to wrap the stream up here in a few minutes. I do very much appreciate everyone who came and hung out. This is the most people I've ever had in my chat or on the stream. And so it's been a very interesting experience to talk to this many people. And it's been great to have a bunch of new voices in the chat saying different points of view, which is really what which is what I like. I like being able to have like really good conversations about Rise of Kingdoms. But yeah, we're having a good time here for the next couple hours. No fighting, no stress. You gotta love that. Did I put gear on this double C? I did. He's just not performing that well. Isaac says, I troll my own alliance sometimes. One siege to a fort rally 100 kilometers away. Thankfully, they have a good sense of humor. Hello, welcome to the stream. AM says, if leadership don't listen to you in your life, what can you do? Yeah, I'm probably overstating that a little bit, but I just all basically what I'm saying is that like all of our good like offensives over the last like 4 or 5 days, like Adi Nabo has like basically done all of those offensives. And it seems like when I'm like in charge, like things are just like not going well. The enemy is just like overrunning us. And that might just be like a time zone thing, who knows, but you know, it's just been a long war. It's been a long freaking war. It's easy to doubt yourself after something like this. P-Man, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. But yeah, I want to thank Redline for the raid. I want to thank Straight for the gifted subs. I want to thank Lambo for the gifted subs. Congratulations to Lambo for winning his first zone. And just thanks to everybody for hanging out. Thanks for the new subs. Thanks for all the likes on the stream. It's you know, we're in a bit of a ceasefire here. I'm going to I still haven't woken up. I still need to take a shower, get my day going, brush my teeth. I'm gonna do some work, and I will see what kind of fighting is happening later today. If there's fighting, I'll get involved. If there's not, I will get my work done. But either way, thank you all for hanging out. Let me see if there's anybody streaming, and I will send a redirect their way. 1 second. Definitely want to keep the redirects going. Yeah, no, doesn't look like too many English-speaking YouTubers are on right now. So I think I'm just going to wrap up the stream. It's been a great one. We got some good trades. I'm going to get top 15 in the kill event. Hey, let me switch this to Dido real quick, because Rexian did make like a very good point that you can get Henry in other ways. So I'm going to get the Dido. I will unlock Dido later today. I somehow went back to top 10? What happened here? Oh, I guess I did like a little bit more fighting. When I was doing all that like city hopping, that cheeky city hopping, I apparently bumped Algebra down to 11th. But I don't even care. I just need top 15 for the Dido heads. So yeah, very successful stream. And I will see you all on the flip side.